Konbanwa minasan. Selamat datang diucapkan kepada anda yang mengikuti sesi ini secara langsung dan juga anda yang menonton setelah live stream ini berakhir ke sesi kolaborasi Starbucks Kios bersama laman Pop Culture Sukeramai Buzz Pop TV. So malam ini saya Kudo Maharizu dari laman blog Starbucks Kios bersama panelis terdiri dari Amber Heard from Geeks Frequency. How are you this evening?
Hi, hello, assalamualaikum semua. I'm doing fine. And today hari ni excited sebab first time jumpa Munif dan Jamal. So yeah.
Yay. Nice to meet you, bro.
Yeah. And
nak buat yang ni lah. Aku buat welcome cara Mimi Ayase nama dia. Dalam
Momo.
Momo aku buat macam ni.
Okay. Also we have tonight Jamal Raslan. What are you tonight? Oh my god, I can't read.
Comic Weekly,
Is
Manhwa
that your-
Chokang.
Manhwa Chokang again. Yes, how are you?
I
This
am
evening.
good, very busy with life. Sampai tak boleh buat apa-apa, sampai hilang selera nak pergi main magic apa semua. Very tiring. Have to work a lot of extra freelance jobs to afford extra income so that I can help pay for my mom's nursing home punya care lah. But while I cannot go out, it means that I spend a lot of time at home resting, which I used to watch to catch up on K-dramas balik. Kebetulan fall season was good. Watch some anime, watch some TV series, read some books
Nice.
in between my assignments. Yeah.
Cool. And of course our DANDADAN enthusiast and kaiju kaki, Munif Malik. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing fine. A bit busy. Actually, it's been a busy whole month lah. Sebab orang kata when it rains, it pours kan. Actually, I just got off macam kerja office aku. We just did a groundbreaking ceremony dengan MB Negeri Sembilan, which also coincides with the start of my third semester untuk my PhD pula. So semua benda ni duk jadi serentak. Plus kau tengok the different venue malam ni and so on. But I make time to talk about DANDADAN because that's just how good it is. How much I love the manga lah. So let's do it.
Yeah, because I mean aku pun, because aku tahu orang only mainly available weekdays, so I took this opportunity lah. Despite the fact we've only got 2 episodes, I think it's worth checking it out. And for those people yang tak pernah dengar atau nak tahu apa DANDADAN is all about, so anyway, we're gonna quickly run down to the bits that pada anda yang menonton sesi ini setelah live stream berakhir. So I recommend you to langgan lah dengan laman YouTube kami for Starbucks Kios dan Buzz Pop TV supaya anda tak ketinggalan untuk menonton live stream kami yang lain dan yang akan datang. Dan jangan lupa untuk tenyih butang like dan tenyih butang yang ada loceng tu. We might let you know when we have new videos up, because unlike Buzz Pop yang lebih regimented dia punya broadcast, the anime division is all over the place due to the fact that, I mean, people are busy, as well as the fact that not every season we follow X number of titles. But anyway, so sebelum is somebody offline?
Jamal.
I thought somebody went pop. Okay, somebody went pop.
I will not touch the mouse for the next 10 seconds.
Yes. Right. Anyway, so we're going to give you a short pengenalan on DANDADAN as an IP. So how come is this? Kalau anda tengok kita punya thumbnail kan, saya tulis terlebih hype ke cerita ni? Because I got confused with dengan another title which I thought, how come DANDADAN dapat anime? Bukan hari tu they decided to take off the title. Either that was what Shueisha wanted to do, or I mistaken that title with DANDADAN. But nonetheless, this title's been going on for a couple of years. I think it's 2021. Dia adalah merupakan sebuah manga nukilan a guy called Tatsu Yukinobu. Now, this guy is a bit shy. Dia gambar dia tak ada, tapi kalau pernah tengok, kalau anda ada TikTok, anda boleh ke channel yang run by Viz Media. There's a picture of him wearing one of those creepy looking masks, and he tells you lah which characters he like. Obviously, he likes Momo, like I do, but then again, there is a reason which we'll get to later why actually characters there, not just because I wear too cute ke apa, actually have got depth, endearing and blah blah blah. But itu baru 2 episod ya. First of all, just to declare, I have the manga, but I purposely didn't read it yet. You guys, Munif, you read the manga?
Yeah. I've read it until the latest chapter. So this mostly the 100, must be 150 plus or something like that.
Yeah. Pada anda yang ni di Jepun, apa yang Munif describe tu dah, kalau tangkobon dia 13. Tapi in English, physically, we've only got up to, I went to check at Kino just now, the 8th one isn't, the 9th one isn't out yet. The one with the fetish guy, dia buat macam tu posing kan. Amber, do you read the manga at all? Or anime only?
No, not at all.
Anime only?
Anime je,
yeah. Okay, and Jamal, I presume might be, but then I don't know, you do read manga anyway, but did you read this?
I will start later this month. I do not know how I managed to have self-restraint to not start the manga last week after watching the first episode. Aku macam, okay, I think this is something I should do, and then I will use the duduk rumah buat kerja punya excuse and burn 2 hours to read the manga. But somehow or other, I got distracted and I forgot about it. But I have a feeling that I will enjoy the manga. Tapi aku macam, I do not know if I want to treat this like Haikyuu, sebab Haikyuu, I found the animation, the anime, and then I immediately jumped on to the manga, and then I finished the manga way ahead of me finishing the anime, to the point that I skipped the last OVA and the last season of Haikyuu sebab the manga dah beda cerita dia, and the current slate of anime adaptations, I really like this generation for the past few years sebab aku rasa selepas Brotherhood kot. Because Brotherhood for me was the industry saying clearly, we will adapt to anime and we will adapt what they read on manga, and we will not give you extra anime content and stuff like that. It will be a 1-for-1 punya replication. Kalau belanja pun belanja sikit je. So when I finished Haikyuu punya manga, I knew that I never needed to watch the anime, because the first 3-4 seasons and the first OVA of Haikyuu aku macam dah, I saw everything I needed to see from an anime. It's absolutely gorgeous. The lines that are a bit coarse kat dalam manga tu has been refined in the anime, so that dalam manga it works on paper sebab dia nampak kinetic, tapi in anime you already have the animation to overcome that, so the clean animations become so much more beautiful lah, cantik lah. So I think I'm gonna do the same with DANDADAN lah kot, sebab DANDADAN I will not do the same sebab on paper, dia punya visual feast is different than when it's animated. I feel there are certain parts macam dalam episode 2 where you practically see a full double 2-page panel punya spread as the animation. I think that is just absolutely brilliant.
Anyway, yeah, you're correct. I mean, what I was going to say is, we've got a little comment here from susah. Komen ni besar tau. I need to find out a way so that I don't block people's faces. Yeah. Damn, ada Munif on the weekend. Well, almost the weekend. Jamal returning. Amber enough said. Anyway, sorry. Padam ni jap. Because manga this this IP actually. When if you look at the cover, I mean, I'm not a avid reader of Reddit. I was just like looking through when I was doing the leg work for this thing. Some
People
idiot
should go crazy on Reddit for this lah.
Reddit for me, in my opinion, like you said once before, people can say anything they want, biarlah kan. Tapi dia komen dia kata, alah lukisan dia macam kalau kau tengah sibuk baca paper, kau tengah lukis ke tepi, macam tu je lukisan dia. Allah, papak dia.
Yes.
Okay.
Munib, kita perlukan Mr. N, Mr. Nick T punya macam mana?
Punya tu. Dia punya meme tu.
Tak, bukan itu. The Mr. T punya ni. Yang dia yang storage keluar tu.
Ada lah. This is us. Anyway, that Reddit person is not Malaysian anyway. Probably wasn't watching this. I mean, look at this, man. Look at this shit. So this was the last copy of Switch at Kino yesterday. Sorry if anybody saw this and wanted this. It's mine. Anyway, but this guy now, dia kau ingat dia ni, mesti ada pedigree lah, lukisan dia gempak kan. He's actually got a few works under his belt, but this was his proper title because he used to be the assistant mangaka to Fujimoto Tatsuki, which is the on Fire Punch. Fujimoto-san sensei is obviously more commonly known for his work with Chainsaw Man lah, kan? Tapi he did during Fire Punch in 2016. Tatsu Yukinobu was an assistant, and he was also assistant to. Ang tahu tak Munif siapa dia assist? Come on.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Siapa ni? Takkan order.
Yuji Kaku Jigokuraku.
Yo.
He
patut art style tu nampak lah. Sebab Dodo very elaborate drawing.
Yeah. So his other works are very like in 2010, as early as 2010, he did a 2-volume sci-fi shonen called Seiki no Rokugo, and there was also a 5-volume baseball shonen manga called Fireball. And there's a fantasy one-shot in 2015 called Kami-sama no Irumachi. Also shonen fantasy, and also in 2015 another one-shot shonen school romance called Renai Saibai Ho, which is about a mushroom-themed love story. Not drugs, but like awet dia rambut mushroom, blah blah blah. But dia orang tanya, apa pasal kau tak buat manga earlier than this? Dia kata tak, aku nak habiskan my experience as an assistant. So by the time he finished assisting Yuji Kaku on Jigokuraku, then he ventured out to do DANDADAN. So another good thing about how Saru adapted this is because it's actually, bukanlah copying, but that's what a good anime should do. Bukan nak kata this mangaka's artwork requires improvement, but adapt it properly. Oh god, man, look at that stuff. But that's by the by. So, why is it called DANDADAN? Actually, I don't even know. I was trying to look for it. Anybody got any clues or read anything? Because this guy's quite shy. He doesn't say much. But I do not know. But I think it's more like of a onomatopoeia macam. Aku tahu kat Jepun, bila diorang nak cakap tada, they don't say tada, they go jajang. So but DANDADAN probably is like a noise or dun. Listen to the opening track by Creepy Nuts. Ada
jawapan. Ya.
Ada jawapan. Apa jawapan dia?
Tapi this was back in April 2022 on Reddit. So it says here that it is written on cover of Volume 3. I presume the Tankobon Volume 3 in Japan. It says DANDADAN stands for Kaidan, Kidan, and Taikendan. So ghost tales, strange tales, and recounting tales. So the middle DANDADAN, the middle da tu, I guess the end disappears because when you compound.
Cakap laju-laju.
You cakap laju-laju dia jadi dandadan.
Lagi sedap pun dandadan. Nice one. Thanks for letting us know. We've got a few before we go on to the next bit lah, which is our most important thing. Habis dengan stack line up dia. Okay, sorry. Okay, oh yeah. We'll have a Q&A session. I will mark questions provided by chat. Tapi kami akan concentrate soalan yang berkait dengan dandadan first. And then kalau ada soalan menyimpang pasal Ultraman ke apa, we'll answer that later. Yes. Fizabri is indeed correct. Anime banyak reference tokusatsu ini. And then don't worry, we've got Munif here to also explain a couple of things. Yes, we know that quote. One Faris. Anybody watch this on MUSE? MUSE Asia. Aku tengok
ada Malay translation.
Dia tak kata Winnie, dia kata batang terus. Aku So instead of Opai, no prizes to guess. For you to guess what Turbo Oba-chan said in Malay. I was like, I wondered, is this that subtitler from Days of Your season 3 and season 2 sorry. Itu at least dia tulis connect. Kenapa? Kita punya live stream ni not for kids, it's R15. Yang ni dia tulis batang. I was like, oi, kau tak boleh tulis anu ke, tak apalah. Anyway,
I hope when I go and see my nephews, sembang-sembang dengan dia, tanya, so what are you watching now? Lepas tu dia keluar, I don't know if you watch this, but I like it. Dia sebut dandadan, aku senyum je.
Probably they will be watching it with the English subtitle.
They probably will be talking about it. Yeah. Tapi sebab diorang tengok dekat TV besar kat rumah ramai-ramai. And I don't think they have Netflix on their phones, their devices. Because Netflix is only on a TV only punya ni. So I am not too sure.
Ya. Kau tak tahu, aku itu tengok 3 pagi dengan bapak aku. Bila SERPOS tu datang dekat MOMO, father like, "Hoi!"
Aku pun macam aku tunggu je orang kat dalam group cakap, orang dalam group petik scene tu. Macam Mizi kata dia, banyak sangat dah a few people comment about it, I'm gonna watch it. Aku macam, I'm just gonna wait until you reach the last 7 minutes and comment on Momo. Lepas tu macam, he was quiet. Macam, okay. But I think that was, I can't imagine how that looked like on panels. As an anime, it looked pretty gorgeous lah, the way it was it was animated. But I can't imagine how it looked like on the anime, because that particular scene when she was abducted was if you look at the space of where that scene is happening, it is a small confined space. You do not see how big the room is. So when you are drawing it on the panels, you need to be able to give a sense of space so that any adaptation boleh bayangkan macam mana nak animate it out. But at the same time, how do you draw it with the action and the art style being so kinetic and so kejap besar, kejap kecil? There's a lot of dynamism in it. So aku macam, okay, sabar, because this is a manga yang I'll probably be like another Death Note for me lah. Aku duduk 3 hari aku tak buat benda lain. Aku just manga all the way, you know. So
Anyway, so R15 is a discontinued motorcycle. Actually aku tak tahu sangat pasal motorcycle, so don't know lah which motorcycle that is. But yes, I think we'll go now to our usual section when we start sesi pembedahan, which is our reaksi satu ayat. Okay, I mean I'm biased, whatever. I know I did macam baca the manga for a couple of chapters, like what Jamal did, because masa tu aku tak tengok chapter 2 which was last night lagi. So aku tengok lah, aku macam okay, tak boleh relax dulu. But I mean, aku tak tahulah, aku tak boleh kata tak suka. Memang suka. Banyak layer kalau kita nantikan. You will see why I like it when we go on about it lah. So we'll give it to Munif. Why do you like this or hate this or whatever? What's your reaksi satu ayat untuk siri ni?
Aku, I guess kalau nak kata satu ayat tu, actually lega dengan dia punya animation quality lah. Release, so to speak. Sebab aku ni selalu bila manga yang aku really like nak dapat adaptation, my biggest worry is that can the animation do what I read justice? Macam Jigoku Raku, Jigoku Raku dia punya manga dia tak ada cerita lah. Macam sebab tempat tu kan dia cakap Taoism, pulau mistik tu banyak bunga-bunga. Dia lukis ketul-ketul flower-flower, so lah manga dia pun semua on the spread lagi, memang artwork dia memang gila babi. So although the animation tu okay, it did its job lah with the adaptation, but honestly it doesn't do the manga justice tau. And aku bukanlah expect they do that verbatim, so it's just crazy hard to do. Then you need to get Studio Ghibli to animate the whole thing, which is not realistic lah kan. So bila dah dapat tahu dia nak adapt DANDADAN pula, so I'm just like okay, just don't suck lah. I don't know if you can do all the crazy shit that we see, that we read in the manga. Tapi bila dia keluar, I really appreciate lah. Macam like you see how it's so stylized, and then they do all these really kinetic angles during the action scenes lah apa semua kan. So I was like more than happy lah. So, lagi-lagi bila Turbo Granny datang lawan dengan the Serpo tu kan, aku rasa that really improves from what we see in the manga, sebab dalam manga tak boleh nak tunjuk that kineticness kan. So it's a simple things macam bila kepala Turbo Granny tu lalu buah kangkang Serpo tu, and then dia punya head tu berhenti, but the momentum rambut dia lajak ke depan gitu. Lepas tu baru dia gigit dari bawah kan. So I'm like wow, that attention to detail, these are the things when it enhances from what you've read from the manga kan. So aku lega when I was just expecting, you know what, macam Jigoku Raku pun aku okay dah, just orang faham what they're looking at, orang just maybe like tertarik with the story whatever. But what they did is that, you know, even though you don't know what it's gonna be about yet, orang dah tertarik with the kineticness and dia punya stylized visuals. So lagi-lagi episode 2 pula dia ada that black and white punya filter tu kan. So the fact that it also looks pretty make me very happy and hopeful that people akan suka this not only the anime series but then pick up the manga juga lah moving forward, because it deserves more love and attention, seriously.
Sorry, I was on mute. Have you heard of the studio before, Science Saru? Have you heard of it?
I think I have, tapi aku rasa aku tak pernah. So aku dengan wife aku gitu orang kata this anime marathon weekends lah, but I don't think macam the things that we've watched so far is mostly dictated by what she wants to watch, and kita macam tak pernah terlintas lagi this studio lah. But we've been watching some like quite pretty bangers juga lah. Yang lately kita pick up that Elusive Samurai tu. Tonton animation.
Oh, yeah, I want to watch that. Is it good?
I'm like hooked.
Yeah, I like it.
Aku tak, sebab aku macam the algorithm for YouTube has been like slowly reaching out to me by feeding in one Mother Basement video, one anime critic video, semua on Elusive Samurai. So aku macam okay, I get you, I'm gonna watch one. Aku tengok satu, aku macam and then I watch another one, and then next thing I know I was like going through a rabbit hole of like reviews and suggestions, recommendations to go watch it. So now Munif has said it, so that's my last macam
that's your sign lah.
That's my sign up.
right
Algorithm works. The algorithm works with Munif.
Yeah. Well, it also worked. I mean, it worked earlier on with Amber because we've got Amber waxing lyrical about it in one of my videos 2 weeks ago.
Kau pun tengok ke? Nice.
I mean, I knew about my IP, but I didn't have time to watch it. But I knew it was beautiful. But Amber watched it, and he was explaining about it. And you have to bear in mind. Sorry, aku tukar sekejap kamera because aku tukar cakap. It's by Yusei Matsui, which is the mangaka for Assassination Classroom. And if you read the manga, I've not read it. If you've seen the artwork, it's a beautifully drawn manga. So I think, macam of late, like I think it was Jamal just now was commenting that I think in this day and age, that there is a wealth of IPs out there in which dari manga pun dah cantik, and then studio pun dah pandai adapt. And hopefully we'll, with the dwindling of all this, the current big shonens, other than One Piece, like MHA ke, Jujutsu Kaisen ke, semua dah nak tutup kedai dah, atau dah tutup kedai dari manga punya perspektif. So what's up now? These are the upcoming. So reaksi satu ayat, Amber, for DANDADAN, please.
Untuk DANDADAN ni, aku nak petik balik apa yang Kudo cakap pasal Shikano Kono Konstantan. Kalau korang need to have your substance untuk tengok cerita tu, bila nak tengok DANDADAN ni, double up your substance. It's wild, it's trippy, gila. Aku tak expect cerita ni macam, aku tak tahu lah, aku rasa aku tak pernah tengok kot anime yang ada like 2 distinct concept supernatural dengan extraterrestrial dalam satu anime tau. Aku rasa kalau supernatural dia supernatural je, kalau alien dia alien je. Aku rasa aku tak pernah tengok cerita macam ni dalam anime kan. Maybe ada aku just tak pernah tengok lagi lah. And animation untuk DANDADAN ni, waktu first time tengok trailer dia, aku tak cam sangat dia daripada anime apa ataupun dari studio apa. Bila tengok first episode ni, terus teringat Devil May Cry Baby. And it's the same studio.
It's the same studio.
Yang buat Devil May Cry Baby. Ya. Tapi Devil May Cry Baby pun aku drop halfway. Tapi animation dia lebih kurang sama, like the camera angle apa semua. The details. So aku macam,
I hope I didn't get this wrong, but if you've heard of a director called Yuasa, Masashi Yuasa, he's kind of seangkatan dengan geng-geng Shinkai, seangkatan dengan geng-geng the guy that made the Mirai, the guy that made like Mamoru Hosoda, that's it. Because he coming back to Yuasa and a Korean chap called Yoon something created Sain Saru, and thus far that I've seen lah, macam ada satu wayang tu aku tak tengok lagi. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. I will let you know what it is later on in the description below. It had ini bukan pasal nak sokong wokeism ke apa. We take things as it is. Because in Japan, if anybody listens to J-rock music, there's a band called Queen Bee. Some people may go because dia punya vocalist dia transgender. It's a half black, half Japanese, list-looking person who can sing as high as a girl and as low as a boy. You would have listened to his voice or punya voice on Dororo, the second incarnation of Dororo. Obviously, the first incarnation is 1967, the one that's done by Twin Engine. Suara dia ada dalam tu. Violence on Chainsaw Man, suara dia dalam tu. Dia garau tau, suara dia and when dia nak buat, tapi dia boleh buat suara dia suara awet. It reminds me of if you've watched Fifth Element. Kau ingat tak the Flosters, the blue alien yang tangan yang she had all the rocks in her stomach. Suara dia boleh naik turun. It reminds me like a human version of an alien who can like sing. So anyway, coming back to that Sain Saru film, because it was about a singer, set in the medieval Japan, and the lead singer was that vocalist from Queen Bee. So because aku tengok trailer tu aku macam ni sure Ustaz suara dia familiar. Tengoknya betul. But yeah. Oh, and they did a couple or one of the episodes in Star Wars Visions, the first season. So I think it was the one yang ada this little robot that had lightsabers. Cerita dia quite poignant lah. That was a Science Saru episode from Visions. Again, I will put it down in the description later on because it is off the top of my head saja. So yeah, it's quite a good studio. So hats off to them for adapting this crazy. Okay. Of course, and Jamal, your reaksi satu ya.
I'm gonna split my reaksi to two things because I approach watching the anime as an IP, but after watching the anime, especially towards in the last scene in episode 1, I immediately realized that my interest is split into two. One is as an animation, as an animation punya property in a medium. And then one more as the manga, as a story punya ni. So a few things I wanted to say. I was surprised sebab aku tak kaji. I have a habit of, at least in recent times, in the last 10 to 15 years, when I read a new anime or manga punya IP, I will only do my Wikipedia internet research when I'm like at least 100 to 200 episodes in, and I know exactly why I stayed that long. So Chainsaw Man was a title that I did not like, but I appreciated it. So as somebody yang katakanlah kau editor untuk Jam, lepas tu kau kata, okay, kita dalam Jam ni kita boleh muat 8 title, means each title 16 page. 16 page, so 16 page. So 16 kali 8, okay, itu main title. So bila kau, and then kita ada lagi extra pages for other stuff. So when you are choosing that 8, and then you know as an institution as big as Jump, you have to have diversity. You have to be a taste maker. Jadi when Chainsaw Man became the hit that it is meant to be, I just had to look at the key visual, at the key art. Aku macam, yeah, this is a no-brainer. This is like, it's about time the manga, the Jump punya titles ada title yang, I don't mean this in a bad way, but yang seemingly adult, where okay, enough are your tropes of taking, Shinigamis or Journey to the West or whatever, taking all these common tropes and just relying purely on good character writing, good character design, and then let people enjoy it. But it's time where now Jump has to like move on dengan peredaran zaman and say, sekarang we are gonna tell you to challenge your own taste in manga. Tolong tengok manga yang pelik macam ni. This kind of art, this kind of stuff, this kind of premise and story. So while I do not like reading, I did not enjoy the manga reading experience for Chainsaw Man, it was such an IP yang aku macam, okay, this is cool. If I was an editor, even though I would for Jump, I would put it on. So bila kau kata the creator worked as an assistant mangaka for Chainsaw Man, I immediately saw how zany and offbeat and out of this world and wild his rites of passage was, to give him the confidence to go like, you know what, I'm gonna take 2 tropes, I'm gonna put it together. My art is already wild, but when these 2 tropes and each of these tropes kita buat dia jadi wild gila babi, when you put them together, I wonder how that is going to be like. Visually, people cannot even settle on one panel. Story wise, how do you even begin to define and start telling the story? So I think that is huge as an IP, because masa Munif cerita kat aku tengok kau Munif kau cerita kat aku kat Bedah ke masa kita jumpa ke kat dalam WhatsApp, bila aku tanya, so DANDADAN ni cerita dia macam mana, and then Munif was like, if you like this and it's supernatural, and then if you like this and then it's alien, you like this, you bayangkan dua-dua ni hang campur, tapi satu tu alien, satu tu supernatural. My mind was like, wow, okay, meletup. So macam Edward cakap tadi lah, you do not get this. You get a lot of very experimental Japanese punya IPs, but there always will be, okay, within supernatural or within a trope, within a genre. You don't get this kind of mix, and not just you get it, but you execute it so well. So Chainsaw Man,
is a very westernized idea, but only the Japanese can execute that, because you cannot draw a character with the fucking saw coming out of his head in an American comic punya standard paneling punya style. It's never gonna work. People are gonna go like, where is his pose? How is he going to work with the saw sticking out of his face? You know, how is he going to interact with this environments and the surrounding? But you know, manga can make it work. So as an IP, I feel that this is hugely interesting. And if it's a precursor to a new big three, yang macam as recent as, say for example, One Piece, Bleach dengan Naruto was around, the big three was pretty much still what the 90 anime big three was, cuma better. This might just open the door to like, okay, now let's stand by guys, our big three is going to be like really odd, because only the Japanese can do this. So from an IP, aku rasa benda tu cool gila babi lah. And then masa kau tengah cakap Amber dengan Munib, I was just going through Wikipedia for DANDADAN, and then bila Kudo petik Yuasa, I then understood why he was chosen to be the guy to helm this shit, because his works as an animator is the right mix. So this is for Munif, Mamat ni dia buat Chibi Maruko-chan, dia buat Doraemon, dia buat Video Girl Ai, which if everybody remembers at the early mid to mid 90s, it was the start of like, okay, cerita dia pelik dia trippy sikit, tapi masa tu the most trippy that you would do is Matrix Animatrix, at least in mainstream animation. So Mama ni buat Video Girl Ai, dia buat Crayon Shin-chan sampai sekarang, and dia animation director and storyboard artist. Okay, so bersepah Crayon Shin-chan dia buat. So his sense of comedic timing, not to make people laugh but to make people is so evident. Because macam Munib cakap, masa nenek lampir tu pergi kat bawah celah kangkang, dalam panel hang nampak dia pergi bawah celah kangkang, tapi bila tengok anime rambut tupi, that sense of dramatism visually in an animation sense, you can only get if you faham timing. Tak kisahlah humor ke drama ke, you have to have a sense of movement, have a sense of pacing to know that boom, dia jadi macam tu. So his titles here are awesome. Selain daripada itu awal tau, itu baru 90s. When you go to the 2000s, dia buat Samurai Champloo as a key animator. Dia buat, even though this is one episode, dia buat Lupin the Third. So if you watch any Lupin, you know that very nice soft Ghibli lines. Aku dengan Munib makin suka benda ni. Kalau macam hujung seluar macam tu, kalau hujung rambut dia macam tu, those things are like the hardest thing to get right, because you need to have a very good feel for the character punya movement. So Lupin dia buat apa lagi, Spy Family, dia director and storyboard artist for the opening sequence. Filmography dia buat Space Dandy. So the moment you know this guy did Space Dandy, then you go like, okay, patutlah DANDADAN feels so good as an animated product. And when I first watched the title sequence, which I really love, Munif dok pasang ni, this particular part masa Momo tengah nari-nari tu, that movement on a weekly anime yang outside of title sequence, you tell me bila ada? Tak ada. And in this title sequence, dia punya mixture of art style, treatment, effects is so wild. It is basically kita tengok Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse weekly, because where else can you get that mix of so many different art styles seamlessly blending together, which was already proven by the page first as a concept. Lepas tu you get the right animation director yang earn his keep atau earn his spurs as a storyboard artist dulu. So this dude Yuasa ni, he understands how to translate panels into scenes because he's a storyboard artist. You cannot ask for a better guy to be in the team to adapt shit. So terus dia macam, wow, I've never seen art like this. Now let me go wild, let me go ham. And I think that is my reaksi satu ayat. I feel that this is aku tak nak lah cakap besar ke apa benda ke. I'm like 2 episodes in and I'm like, what? my favorite part of the anime is masa mamat sumo, alien sumo, whatever yang jadi besar tu. Perasan tak Munif? Yang scene hitam putih dia tengah terbakar tu, yang I won't be surprised if it's a 2-page spread on the manga. I won't be surprised. Yang dia tengah terbakar, lepas tu semua hitam putih je. But that ink is as if to say, you know, Takehiko Inoue tengah lukis Vagabond, kau animate Vagabond tu. Every fucking ink stroke tu kau animate. That was how I felt watching it. I'm like, if this is how this guy animated this shit, God, I need to see the panels where he's animating it from. Because Mama tu probably dia akan tengok page tu macam mana lah aku nak animate benda lah ni.
Satu, jangan. One thing I like to add like some things to the things that you said lah. Satu pasal, you know, who are the guys tasked with like animating this project, and then about the genres that they have to melt together apa semua kan. So aku rasa memang you know, you talk about like Shin-chan, Chibi Maruko lah and all that and so you actually see why this particular set of skills is useful for DANDADAN. Sebab bagi aku lah, it's a smart decision to make it very stylized and sometimes a bit whimsical juga, disebabkan macam tadi yang ni semua orang pun nampak lah yang dah tengok 2 episodes. Yang penting kita pun dah berulang kali cakap it's marrying, you know, sci-fi, UFOs, alien, and also benda-benda mistik macam hantu and curses and all. But here's the thing, this is the first 2 episodes. As the story goes, aku just nak tambah di sini, there's gonna be another, macam mana? It's actually not just these 2 things. Kalau aku boleh categorize what genre are they covering dalam DANDADAN ni, I can just say it's basically no holds barred. Itu sebenarnya. Just bukan sci-fi and mysticism. It's no holds barred. Anything goes. Sebab apa? You're gonna see cryptozoology dalam ni sekali. You're gonna see cryptozoology. So you...
Mute.
Tak. Aku nak interject sekejap je because it was funny that you mentioned that because it's as if there's this one part in the first episode dia dah nak screw up the whole thing. Yang when you said no hold barred, when Serpo Grady came up to her Momo's phone and Serpo was like, what is this? We don't even have this technology. Itu baru episode 1.
Satu. So what I meant was that the first 2 episodes, you seeing the marrying of these very 2 different genres, mysticism dengan sci-fi. So with that pun kita dah nampak, okay, kenapa they got these animators to do this very, you know, stylized kind of visuals to marry these 2 completely different things kan. But then as we go, you're gonna see even more kenapa they actually kena buat DANDADAN ni very stylized, because it's actually not just these 2. It's no holds barred. Anything goes. So, macam aku kata tadi, there's gonna be cryptozoology tu. So you're talking about other alien, you're talking about other hantu, then you're talking about other Mongolian death worm, ada lah Nessie lah, apa semua benda ni yang, you know, urban legends, myths, earthbound monsters campur dengan alien sci-fi and hantu. So it's actually, when you look at the full scope of the things yang dia akan cover, then kau realise memang dia tak boleh pilih satu style, mampus. So it has to be very highly stylized, whimsical, a bit detached from reality tapi somewhat tied to it juga. Then all these flavors will make sense.
Actually kan Munib, the moment you said that, masa Hang start explain tu, the moment you made your point before you started elaborating, aku dah terus, the thing that came to mind was, is this, like I wax lyrical a lot about Kafka, like a lot, because it reflected on a generation of manga and anime audience yang macam, you know what, I grew up on stuff like this as a kid. Now as this middle age or adult mid 20s late 20s punya dude yang ada kerja baru kahwin atau nak kahwin ni lah. So where I am in my life, you know, when I was reading manga at school, aku bayangkan hidup aku macam ni and all that. So you immediately capture these readership. Tapi the kaiju bit captures the younger audience. So it is a reflection of the evolution of reading tastes, kan? Similarly, masa kau explain pasal DANDADAN ni, aku terbayang macam, so if that is the case, in this digital age where semua orang ada access kepada semua benda immediately all the time, it's going to be so hard to process. Your feed has a lot of shit that you cannot control. So if you see, if we feel that way as adults, bayangkan budak-budak adolescents kat sekolah, which is the ages of Momo and Ken, what would they be feeding on? And if it's a story that reflects their time, it has to be, as macam Mudi cakap, varied and pecah-pecah macam-macam genre, because it has to include everything. They cannot control what they experience and consume in life. Apart, dia boleh curate sikit je. So the moment the manga or rather the IP is able to, in a very meta way, capture all this to sort of like, okay, these are the two characters that I have. So these two characters go through all this shit. They see all these things. They don't want to know about Nessie. This shit has been going on before they were born, but they were, as a part of their story, they have to learn about Nessie. Kau boleh bayangkan the amount of like benda pelik. So it brilliantly captures the mental state that they could possibly be in. Yang macam, aku nak kena hadap ni, and for an animator, for a visually, any artist working on this will be like, oh man, I've been working the last 15 years to do a project like this, bro. Kau nak aku lukis apa, bro? Kau nak aku lukis apa? It feels that way. And if that's the case, it's a cause for celebration lah. Because I cannot find a title. I tried to find a title, macam, wait, tak jumpa. And then I give up. And then I'm just gonna watch it and refrain from reading the manga for as long as I can. Kalau tidak, nanti akan jadi macam Kaiju number 8 lah.
Katam terus.
Start belum? Mana episod minggu ni? Macam tu. Oh man.
Yeah, anyway, because before we go on about talking about this, I just gonna finish up a bit on Sains Saru. Actually, we were waxing lyrical about Yuasa, but actually Yuasa left the company 4 years ago. Because he founded the company, and then now the Korean guy runs it. Quickly.
But his touches are very clear lah.
I mean, sorry.
Tak. Tadi ada satu part dalam kau punya tu. Tak apalah, nanti aku ulang. Nanti aku petik kalau aku ingat.
Tak, pasal dia obviously if you look down the current stuff of I mean aku tak nak go technical because I'm not really, but he's left the company anyway, but he's no longer in Saru anyway. Yeah, because for example, take Yamashiro Fuga, being a director and episode director storyboard, so this is the guy that's doing it. Kimura Eriko, aku kenal dia pasal dia apa, if you've watched the NHK documentary that followed siapa tu, our Ghibli friend
Miyazaki.
Ya Allah, Hayao Miyazaki. She was in the meeting when they were trying to figure out who should we find to voice when they were making When the Wind Rises, the main character's voice, and because they had lots and lots of proper actors, because Miyazaki don't take seiyus, he takes actors to voice the characters, and then they were like jokingly, Toshio Suzuki, his counterpart in Ghibli, dah look at him, kita panggil Hideaki Anno, macam if Nazir was here, he will be like rolling on the floor crying because he hates this guy. He's the director for Evangelion, and when he said that, and Anno was in Miyazaki was in agreement, you should see this woman's face, because she's pretty much, she did quite a lot of sound directing for Ghibli punya studio punya kerja, and muka dia kan dalam video tu macam aku penat pilih semua orang pelakon-pelakon ni, satu pun kau tak suka, suddenly korang kelakar-kelakar sama kau, panggil brother dia. In the end he got the job anyway. It was so funny. If anybody who are fans of Ghibli watch that documentary, if it's not the 10 year, it's the other one. In fact, yang there was one documentary from 2023 which is about 2 hours long. Yeah. Oh, ni sekejap je. Ni bukan, it's just like a little point that I make. I mean if you've read as anime fans, korang baca Twitter kan, then you get some shit poster going, bising lah kau bukan tahu lukis apa-apa pun. Suddenly persons like him will go screen cap the opening credit for DANDADAN, go, aku lukis benda ni.
Nice. This was the dude ke?
No. Yang
famous
one, yang famous punya bukan dia. Yang famous punya One Piece.
One Piece. Ya. Lawak gila.
Dia kata, kau bising lah. Dia kata, aku tahu lah boleh cakap. Dia kata, the screen cap and ending dia, kau nampak nama aku tu. And then nama dia sebiji dengan nama dekat Twitter. Aku cakap, betul orang lagi. Just because you are a foreigner. This is also another thing that I tell younger people like in Malaysia, go ahead man, go ahead, you can do it. Learn some Japanese also lah. You may not need to go to Japan even, but if you're good, you're good. Yeah, and it's quite good to see this kind of people out and about in the industry, contributing to anime just because you're not Japanese. If you've got the chops, I've seen Arabic names, and also I've seen studios based in Bali. Kalau korang perasan, beberapa kali aku nampak PT Ubud. Kau pernah tengok, Amber? Pernah dengar? Kan Indonesia Company ada PT kan? PT Ubud Studios. Flipping heck, kerja dia buat macam in-betweening job ke apa, tapi they get big name punya. Aku cakap, terrorist ke? So, bukan nak kata kita sebagai Malaysia tak ada benda ni, tapi there's a way forward, man. There's a way forward. Of course, we are proud with our Malaysian animation. Kudos to them. But it's just that if you are Japanese, say for example, slanted, rasa nak buat kerja macam tu, there you go. It's possible. So let's quickly go lah to the main section of the discussion, which is pretty much segment seterusnya. Aku sepatutnya to the eagle-eyed among you, you may have noticed a few changes, very minor changes to the anime division page. Nak kata no prizes for guessing, sedih sangat pula. Tapi nak kata prizes for guessing, aku tak ada prize nak bagi. But I'll give you an old video in the meantime untuk segmen kita seterusnya. Okay, so pretty much just a quick rundown because as I said, kita orang tak ada macam soalan macam ni because benda ni aku rasa pasal kita baru 2 episod. Okay, cerita dia simple je. Cerita ni cerita cinta tapi berlatar belakangkan occult atau supernatural. Macam ni lah, science fiction campur hantu. Tapi ada cerita cinta. Tapi cerita dia, karakter dia macam sangat
inilah X-Ray Jepun.
Jangan cakap kat Aziz Osman, kadang dia buat don.
Oh my god. So sebab aku boleh terbayangkan Ustaz Don ada, lepas tu segala pun Don dalam Abang Fazil semua ada. Lepas tu dia buat don. Kau jangan weh. Because kalau arwah Muhammad Khalid ada, that might just be gold. Like that might just be gold, bro.
Anyway, so basically the two characters are very, I don't want to talk about the features kan, macam dah tak ada cerita kan. So basically we've got this girl called Ayase Momo, and she's voiced by this girl actress called Wakayama Shion. Dia tak banyak sangat lah watak yang outstanding. Tapi kepada anda yang minat Licorice Recoil, she used to voice Takina Inoue, the brunette counterpart to the blonde Chisato So that's Shion Wakayama, and she's also if anda siapa yang minat atau the games made by Hideo Kojima, dan jika anda perasan of late Kojima ni asyik buat review wayang je. Kalau panjang dia punya komen, wayang dia mungkin best kan. Tapi he's been quite active of late because dia komen he's been like rubbing shoulders with this Hollywood big. Rupanya because Death Stranding 2, to all you gamers out there, I'm not a gamer, but apparently in 2025 there'll be Death Stranding 2 on the beach out next year, with Elle Fanning, the last was the Japanese girl in Deadpool. I don't know lah, banyaklah pelakon-pelakon. So Shion Wakayama is in the Japanese version of it. She's voicing Elle Fanning's character. So in the same breath, dia kata, then I saw her in I saw that DANDADAN where she was voting. I really like it. Biasalah, macam giving the Kojima approval, which goes to show kalau Kojima suka, this is not a dirt, man. And just a quick one.
His passion is movies, sir. His actual passion is movies. Dia buat game, tapi dia sangat teringin buat movie. So satu game dia jadi macam movie.
Patutlah game dia banyak cinematic. In terms of how he tells the story and sets it up, designs it
if I'm not mistaken, he even like under dia punya name lah, he even established a production studio and maybe nak try his hand with small film projects first lah, to see how that goes kan. So if he suddenly menjadi buat movie full time, we're gonna see some crazy stories, man. So hopefully that pans out.
Of course, with a love story, we need pasangan, and I'm not going to go into much detail yet because this will come out in our discussion. Is the deuterogenous Okarun, the boy, and his voice by, if you boleh dengar lah suara dia, tapi he sounds like a very young version of it himself. He was voiced by Hanae Natsuki, the voice for Kamado Tanjiro. So yeah. So we'll just talk about the two people first lah. Amber, what are your thoughts on these two characters? Masa kau tengok, kau rasa macam, are you looking forward to see what they're going to be like? Because aku rasa dalam episode 2 kau boleh tengok how certain things have changed for Okarun, for example. I mean, have you got any thoughts?
Basically, episode 1 ni dia macam nak tunjukkan like, okay guys, DANDADAN ni something different, something yang korang tak pernah tengok. Episode 2 baru dia nak bagi detail dynamic antara dua karakter ni. Dua karakter ni lah, Momo dengan si Ken Takakura. Mind blowing siap bila dia sebut nama Ken Takakura tu. Awal-awal dia macam aku fikir untuk karakter ni kan, Okatku ni, aku tak tahu lah, awal-awal macam aku tak suka siap karakter ni, aku rasa nak rembat dia. Tapi bila dia waktu dia datang, bila dia dah kena possess dengan Turbo Nanny, dia datang nak try to save Momo, yang dia cakap, aku akan selamatkan kau apa semua, trust me apa semua kan. Aku macam memang ni style juga sebenarnya kan. So aku macam ada that menarik lah kat situ. Lepas tu si Momo ni pula, dia awal-awal dia jenis yang delinquent, and then dia like have this macam crush dekat satu celebrity old school, which is nama dia Ken Takakura. Aku pun awal-awalnya waktu tengok first episode aku tak tahu pun siapa Ken Takakura. Lepas first episode barulah orang sibuk cakap okay ni celebrity zaman dulu. Aku macam pelik lah untuk seorang budak sekolah minat untuk pelakon zaman 50-an 60-an. Aku macam what the hell, pelik gila benda tu. And then dia pula out of nowhere tiba-tiba macam waktu Okakun kena bully tu, dia tiba-tiba duduk kat depan dia macam protective sama. Okakun pula, the only reason kau buat benda ni kau suka aku. Aku macam what? Macam tu je kau boleh expect orang suka kau. Aku macam okay, bila dia cerita backstory dia, aku tak ada kawan apa semua, okay lah, boleh terima. So aku suka dua dynamic karakter tu bila diorang bawa bila diorang ada this power apa semua, and then diorang dah ditangle apa semua, like aku ni kena ada Momo, kalau tak dia tak boleh kawal power dia apa semua. Aku suka benda tu lah. So aku macam, aku tak tahu lah cerita ni dia punya direction ke mana. Macam kalau kita tengok Demon Slayer ke Jujutsu Kaisen, kita dah macam dah establish ada villain dia tau. Tapi macam cerita ni nak ke mana? Like basically alien dengan that ghost entity, supernatural entity tu bergaduh sebab Winnie. Aku macam, apa kejadah cerita ni, mana direction cerita ni. Tapi bila tengok episod dulu macam, okay, ni memang something yang aku tak pernah dapat tau sebelum ni. So aku macam lagi looking forward untuk tengok benda ni. Ya. Tak ingat. Mute.
So because I've got a bit of a cough, so aku try nak make sure aku tak nak batuk kat aku speaker. Ni apa macam like kind of like I didn't even expect people like yourself know who Ken Takakura is, because he died 10 years ago. Masa tu he's 83. Tapi I sebagai apa, what you call it, yang ni ke? Kan, I mean she was attracted to him because of the fact that he actually uttered a line that Ken Takakura apparently used, but I still cannot find out which film it was from, because dia kata Jibung Bukio Deskara. Well, that's the original line, tapi Hanae Natsuki said Jibung Bukio Nande, which basically means I'm an awkward person. And then masa tu dia macam Momo macam aku tadi aja tak ingat nama lah, tapi nama kau apa lah? Takakura Ken. Dia muka tukar siapa tu, belakang meletup. I thought that was the most beautiful thing ever. It's like
exactly. Aku terus message Bunik macam, wow, pay off gila babi. Like you see that coming.
So
but
this is how beautiful the story was written. And it's
Spark.
Tapi
bro, itu bukan spark bro, itu explosion bro.
Dia spark bro, tapi explosion.
Because macam everyone was saying, how is this 14-year-old girl? Okay, the story might be set in 1980, but she's got a mobile phone, so it has to be set current time. I mean, this I can tell you this though. This is the only line I know from Ken Takakura, and listen to this.
So they got a nip in this building who speaks fucking English. Assistant Inspector Matsumoto Masahiro, Criminal Investigation Section, Osaka Prefecture Police. And I do speak fucking English.
Macho.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that as a university student in the 90s. It was a fantastic film. Aku tak melawat Jepun lagi. And then bila kau No, it's Black Rain. It's with Michael Douglas, Andy Garcia. Pardon?
That is like a lineup, man. A lineup and a half, bro.
And then the heroine was Steven Spielberg's current wife, Kate Capshaw. And then the Japanese actors were Ken Takakura, a guy who's now apparently who died quite immediately after the story, who became the bad guy. And then some big oyabun guy. I mean, kalau kau pernah tengok wayang Jepun, kau kena yang wayang gangster, diorang pakai the same. Biasalah, casting director diorang based in Japan is pretty much uses everybody who's in a Yakuza film lah. So, ni just a quick trivia. Macam for example, if you've been to Osaka before, in a place called Dotonbori, where all the food that you can eat is on that particular street, dia macam tunjuklah kereta polis semua line up. Bila kau visit in real life, benda tu pedestrianised. Macam dah polis je kereta ada kat situ. But anyway, that's how long time ago it was lah. The story was. But Ken Takakura, for me, yes, I know fucking English. And another thing to watch for him in that film is also him singing lagu siapa, the black blues singer yang buta tu, Ray Charles. Baby, it's alright. If you know that song, you need to see Ken Takakura sing that song. And his other Hollywood film is called The Yakuza, directed by Sidney Pollack in 1970 something. And he's got a whole host of Japanese films if you are into Japanese cinema. But I really do not know how to. Aku cari, aku pakai kanji ni, aku copy, tulis, wayang mana. I cannot figure out. So if anybody in the chat knows, can update us where that line is from, I'll be quite interested to know. The nearest to it was a comment on Twitter where they had a picture of Ken and the kanji written, but then somebody could have easily printed it on the screen. So I do not think it might be real, it might be from another film lah. But yeah, tapi itulah, aku masa tengok episode 1 macam, asal nama dia OKARUN rupanya? Oh, pasal ni lah kau tak panggil Ken Takakura. No, because of that she refuses to. So I'm waiting. And one more thing, korang perasan tak? Bila dia jadi the turbo this guy, he changes his personality a bit. Dia macam hero handsome like Amanda Kuset.
I'm depressed.
Tapi it's like, I love it, man. Anyway, sorry. Yeah?
Okay. Aku ada dua benda nak cakap. Satu tadi the overlay tadi yang masa nampak gigi nenek tua tu.
Yes.
Every time that was the biggest reason. That was the first reason why I macam DANDADAN ni macam cool. Because macam aku suka orang yang gauntlet dan aku suka orang yang ada mask besar macam tu.
Yes.
Dan benda tu kan pada aku adalah macam them doing a better version of Bleach punya Vizier dengan Hollow. Aku rasa lah. As much as I love Taiti Kubo punya design, fucking brilliant designer. Anyway, masa kau cakap pasal dia punya attitude tukar tu kan, if Sakura and Hinata was there, betul kan? Mesti Hinata siku Sakura. Mesti kau wish Sasuke macam tu kan? Lepas tu Sakura akan sentap. Diam lah kau. I have a feeling because he captured, it's edgelord, but there's a lot of like irreverence about it. Edgelord ni kau tak boleh poyo. Kau kena irreverent. Baru kau edgelord. Kau bukan irreverent sebab kau edgelord. Kau edgelord sebab kau irreverent. So that dude, bila dia nak lawan tu macam macam ni aku nak kena menang kan. Tapi kau tahu dia bukan macam aku nak kena menang kan. Faham tak? So it feels like macam swag dia ada risk lah basically. So aku rasa
kau cakap swag in the Japanese dialogue semua perkataan dia again.
Itulah pasal I was laughing. Aku macam wait, cerita ni masuk. Okay, I think if there's one word that I would use to describe this shit,
one Faris made the
dia
point
masuk.
there.
Aku tak tahu how. I do not know how, but you know how Japanese and Korean food menu can be weird sometimes. Tapi masuk. Yeah, this is one of those shit. Masuk
Anybody got any comments with regard to one Faris? I think somebody mentioned this as well. I mean, there's a few references.
Aku tak pernah sempat tengok, so aku tak boleh nak komen.
Anybody?
The only reference
main character itu kan, mas gigi dia tu kan.
I see. Ni lawa tu. Dah lah dia pakai spek. Macam
Tak, the only reference waktu mula-mula tengok cerita ni Mob Psycho. Terus waktu Okaku sampai dekat terowong tu terus teringat Mob Psycho.
Yes. Mob Psycho for me was one of those titles in early 2000s yang macam cerita ni trippy cerita ni pelik so tapi aku tak pernah tengok, even though it is always in the critically acclaimed things that you should have watched in the 2000s punya decade. Tapi aku macam I think it's too late for me to go back or whatever lah. It has that vibe, tapi very zany lah, macam wild sel benda ni. And you are not on substance yet. So macam bayangkan kalau kau on substance. Lagi pelik tu cerita ni.
Aku rasa kita need the substance once we, as Munif was saying, when we get all the other characters.
Cop. Ke sebenarnya Munif sekarang ni macam Mark Ruffalo dan Bruce Banner kat dalam Avengers I'm Always Angry kan. Ke sebenarnya Munif sekarang ni dia dah perma substance. Kita je tak tahu. Tapi dia macam I'm on it already man. 127 issues ago.
Sebab all the shit yang aku dah baca kan. Dia macam kalau dia macam ni lah, kalau nak bantu orangnya anticipation, expectation of the show ni. Kau pernah tengok the Cartoon Network tu yang regular show tu. Kau pernah tengok cerita tu?
Apa dia?
Jamal? You've heard of the cartoon regular show?
No, the regular show. Let me
tak pernah. Kalau kau tengok kartun regular show tu,
oh ya ni. Okey.
Dia memang cerita masuk air tu.
Okey.
Kalau kau pernah tengok regular show kau faham.
Dia masuk
sebab
air, dia
tadi
masuk baju buat air ke dia masuk air batu?
Sebab tadi dia pun related dengan apa yang Amber cakap tadi lah. Sebab tadi Amber kau tengah speculate macam what is the structure of the story kan. Macam dia ada overarching villains ke, you know what's going to happen, what's going on kan. So cerita ni memang dia macam X-Files, macam Supernatural. Dia macam every episode they can discover this, you know ni urban legend, cryptozoology, deal dengan UFO, deal dengan hantu apa semua. So dia macam tu lah. Dia every episode is macam something new and something crazy and something from a host of genres kan. Cuma dia akan ada lah reoccurring punya villains ke, characters ke, and then ada setengah halangan tu maybe yang susah sikit, will take a lot more episodes than the rest untuk macam dia resolve. So dia ada a continuation of the story, but it's also one of those IPs yang macam kalau contoh kau tengok Gintama kan, kau just tiba-tiba tengok daripada chapter 200 tapi macam kau kan terhibur, kau tak rasa macam, you know, as opposed to One Piece, kalau kau tengok one episode tengah-tengah kau tengok Skypiea without context kan, tu benda tengah jadi. So macam yang ni dia macam that regular show lah. Dia ada continuity, but at the same time you can just enjoy the madness in every episode on its own. Tu pun dia very fun. So dia tu lah, kejap cryptozoology, kejap hantu, kejap sci-fi, UFO, mecha pun ada, macam-macam ada. So that is the structure of the show, so to speak.
I like how self-aware it is when tiba-tiba for some unknown reason, and I think as people, young or old, we can relate to this moment. Macam you had that genius moment where macam tentang benda ni macam ni. So masa sumo tu kata, wait, he's a sumo fighter. Lepas tu, and then they went, so his hands cannot touch the ground. And then in a moment of acknowledgement, you are a genius. Aku macam, okay, I want that humor. That is cute. That is cute as fuck. Sebab kalau benda tu gagal pun, and you can imagine as a writer, when you arrive at that moment where the two characters are interacting that way and the characters are writing themselves, dia akan macam, sumo dia ni rupa macam sumo. And then like the other guy will go like, the first thing that he will think of is that, so dia tak boleh pegang tanah lah. And then macam there's a moment, and as a writer, when you get that moment, you feel very energized, very spirited. Sebab macam, oh shit, I have a genuine character moment yang aku tak tulis pun. The characters wrote themselves. So even if their plan to make his hands touch the ground fail, then the character would just react, it could have been a genius moment. But because it did not work that way, then the characters reacted macam, it was a genius moment. So it's a very nice example in the thick and thin of the first episode, of the second episode, where you see the characters interact previously on a very unequal footing. They arrive at the friendship in very unequal footing, very opportunistic. But that was the first moment where they go like macam, aku acknowledge kau acknowledge aku. Aside from the fact that she started controlling him that was a moment where macam, okay, there's pure interaction. It's not like I do something for you, you do something for me. Which, if you take into the context of the whole scene, diorang nak kena selamatkan diri lah, lepas tu nak kena fikir macam mana aku nak lekat balik, tampal balik seal tu. It's like, yo, kau budak, tapi kau tak bodoh. Tapi kau still budak, tapi kau tak bodoh. It's a very nice way of showing without overwriting the characters. I don't. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's very difficult thing to do. I think Kaiju number 8 does this quite well, and with anyone interacting with Kafka. So, but that was a sangat cool moment. Aku macam gelak, terbahak sekejap.
So kepada anda yang figuring out what Jamal was actually saying is because in sumo, and if you remember in episode 2 bila kita nampak the UMA, this is one of a few things that I just learned from the bloody story, because satu, they don't call it UFOs anymore, it's all UAPs, unidentified anomalous
Anonymous?
phenomenon. And then, so what is this big monster yang macam sumo ni? Yeah, it's an alien, but it's more of a UMA. Rupanya bila aku check kan, UMA tu dia actually buat bracket JP, unidentified mysterious animal. But anyway, pada anda yang mungkin pernah tengok sumo, you may, so probably if you were Japanese, you probably sumo macam Rikishi, because dia ada, when they start kan, they do things like this where they show that they don't carry weapons, and then he was wearing the getup of a sumo wrestler anyway. But you were saying they were like, agaknya macam later on dia cakap, sumo kalau nak menang, kau kena tolak kau punya opponent beyond the border of the ring, or as what Jamal said, kaki dia tak boleh kena keluar daripada ni. So bila dia jatuh tangan ke apa jatuh badan, you're dead. So tu lah diorang fikir. So the only way to make the tangan kena lantai, dia kena jatuh lah, kaki dia kena naik lah. So but anyway, I'm just putting a picture of apa sumo moves in there. But actually I want to go to Munif actually, because I don't think I'm matching it with anything on the site, but yeah, obviously after the first walaupun baru pertama kali jumpa in the first 15 minutes of the episode, kau rasa diorang dah married couple dah lama dah. Kau ingat tak masa kawan you are kan, and also that, okay, ni on the side again, because when I saw the character designs of these two girls, friends of Momo, kepada anda yang tahu pop culture Jepun awal 2000, late 1990s, ada pergerakan nama Kuro Black. Gyara is actually, it's just like, it's Japanese for girls. That they have this subculture of these girls having blonde hair, chewing gum, very American. It's like a 1960s shtick. You would have thought benda-benda ni dalam cerita American, macam Grease, yalah yang hi, but they don't do that. So one clue you could see in Momo is her socks dia yang baggy tu. So if you were to go to Japan, like, you don't see them anymore in Shibuya, because they would be 35 years old now, and the only way to see them is you have to go drinking lah, because they have girl bars with Gyaru theme pops and that kind of stuff. But anyway, dulu diorang berlambak kat situ. And lagi subculture is the fact, it's not just them going to the tanning booth, they actually spray themselves brown. Kalau boleh extreme hitam.
Blackface.
The point that you think that they look like they look like flipping. Well, it's a toy that doesn't exist anymore because obviously it's racist lah. So where like blackface lah, yeah, you say. So but that's why the Japanese, bukan they get away with it, but they can go, I don't know what's wrong. I'm just pretending to be, Michael Jackson. He's black. Itu mungkin diorang punya reason lah kot. But anyway, that's by the by lah. But I quite like how they did the design on the two friends, and because she was putting on makeup in class when she was like getting pissed off, kena belasah dengan her ex-boyfriend, in which I thought was a scene that was very, I was taken aback actually. Macam, whoa, 2024 or 2021. A story where a guy literally kicks a girl in the stomach kind of thing, and you go like, okay. Bukanlah aku nak kata go, apa punya mangaka tunjuk benda-benda macam ni. You go like, wow, in this current climate, people still draw that kind of stuff. Anyway,
aku
after that long window,
sebab in Japanese society, they don't, I wouldn't say this, values mean a lot to them. So traditional values mean a lot to them. So but somehow or other they're able to separate or rather reconcile those very strong values with very modern living lah. Jadi anywhere in this world, especially in a pop culture punya medium, manga ke buku ke novel ke anime ke, yang boleh yang berani nak lukis atau nak tulis cerita laki ni pukul perempuan ni atau perempuan ni pukul laki ni, it would be Japan, because they don't care about what the rest of the world thinks about, you know, gender roles dan sebagainya. They have their own set of values that everybody follows, so there is no requirement to be woke because they are already aware of who they are kan. Jadi kalau cerita ni open macam tu, orang westerners will feel terkejut lah. Dan you know,
aku bukan kata nak advocate ke apa lah, tapi it's just like that guy was a dick. That guy was a dick.
Yeah, because aku punya reaction sama dengan kau. Aku cuma bezanya bila aku tengok macam, wait, apa hal start macam ni? But I immediately gravitated to how it was animated. Masa dia swing kaki dia, and then masa guy tu swing kaki dia, daripada proportion kecil dia jadi proportion besar, macam kamera tu betul-betul ini.
And Jamal,
the moment I saw that, I macam, oh ni kid cool. I'm just gonna watch it for the visuals. And then I got hooked lah about 10 minutes later. So.
And then that was repeated 15 minutes later in the UFO, because now I will talk to Munif. Let's talk about the SERPOS, man. The SERPOS. And why do they look familiar? They are original versions. And now Munif will tell us all.
Dia Serpo ni, dia basically is all the Ultraman references wrapped into one lah. Sebab the most obvious one is dia punya lain sikit, but we know that's an Ultraman punya pose bila dia buat dia punya psionic attack. So but dia punya, tengok lah cara dia reference, tapi macam mana dia buat benda tu halus macam mana tau. Dia punya true alien form, nampak badan dia yang ada those geometric patterns tu kan. And dia punya human form yang kepala besar, muka tak boleh belah tu, these are all, kalau kau gabungkan the stripe bodies, the pattern dengan kepala human form yang besar tu, dia jadi alien dada lah. Dia jadi alien dada. So kalau korang kenal dalam Ultraman, dia is a species collector. Ultraman. Dada Seijin.
Dia perempuan kan?
Ada beberapa jantina lah actually. Dia a race yang suka collect species. So this episode kau tengok dia gambar dia human form dia ambil kepala dada tu, tapi badan dia is dia punya true alien form. Lepas tu dia punya move lah tu Ultraman punya move. So all the Ultraman reference gabung into one. So the Serpo ni, okay. One of the things yang bagi aku menarik juga about the story is, okay, the Serpo being one of the characters lah, is that dalam dia punya kegilaan and seemingly randomness ni, you cannot deny the fact yang as kau baca the manga, or as you will see in the coming episodes, bila dah lama sikit kau akan realise, actually these characters are very well written tau. Sebab okay, pasal the main characters Momo dengan Okarun tak payah cerita lah, they're gonna have their character developments and everything. And let me tell you one thing, I hate romances tau, actually. Tapi mula-mula I powered through the story sebab you know I like all these cryptozoologies, aliens, kaiju semua. So aku tengok for that. Tapi lama-lama I realise one thing. Walaupun it's a love story, I don't hate these two guys. Sebab it's so well written though. Pasal as you go, you realise dalam hidup kau or in your circle there is a Momo and there is an Okarun. It's a very real people lah. Sebab you could easily just buat Momo tu, dia ni main character, girl boss, sweet whatever. Tapi tak, you tengok perangai dia pun macam dia kind, tu dia pun comel, tapi at the same time dia macam very potty mouth, very brash kan. So macam dia macam orang betul lah. It's not stereotype. And Okarun tu pun sama. So Okarun tu kau nampak dia macam, ni it could easily be your typical shonen, budak nerd, and then jumpa keberanian dia one day. Tak, kita tengok dia very timid personality dia semua. Tapi the moment macam the scene in the school bila Momo macam kesian dia terjerit kat dia, okay, I try to match your topic. Oh, but I believe in ghost. Saya tak percaya alien lah tu. Terus dia smart tau. Kali bodoh lah percaya hantu kan. Dia kau tak ni some idiot helpless nerd kan. So macam ada attitude rupanya. So they feel like a real person tau. And kenapa aku cakap sebenarnya ni pasal, okay, in other IP so maybe that's also true for the main characters is well developed, well written. Tapi even percaya atau tak, even for the Serpo ni pun kan, so they, as you can see, is heavily featured in the intro DANDADAN kan. So that should tell you yang dia pun akan jadi a recurring character in the show. But all I can say is that sekarang ni I think they are the most hated characters in the show lah. These creepy, rapey aliens kan. Apa benda korang kan. Tapi kau bayangkan,
the second monster related to the SERPOS the sumo.
Dia macam mana nanti dia tak tahu. Dia dah mati. Tapi I'll just say that the Serpo will be a reoccurring presence in the show. But here's the fun thing. Dia bukannya reoccurring and macam Team Rocket dalam Pokemon tau. Datang do the same thing, get pissed off. Even the Serpo ni pun akan ada revelations about them, akan ada developments about them. And let me tell you, some of your most macam hated villains or whatever yang kau can see throughout the show. And then all these characters, and characters sangat banyak, allies, villains, entities yang maybe somewhere in the middle apa semua. The characters are so well written, or at the very least so interesting. Dia nanti in the later chapter dia sampai ada dia punya own Avengers punya moment lah apalah in this show tau. Kau sampai chill tau tengok certain characters ni datang balik and you like let's go. Sampai macam tu. So karakter-karakter dia memang best is what I'm trying to say. The main characters memang well written. Kau jangan risau saya tu, dia kena develop even more as we go. But kau kan tengok the characters, even the antagonists, some that you've left behind, tiba-tiba bila datang balik also will be a different experience when you first met this character. So there's a lot of things going on, but as aku tengok ada some early criticism cakap cerita ni bila gila sangat, we could say that this must be just shock value tau. But it's not. It's actually like quite well written. As you go, you will see they have a plan lah. Memang ada structure lah. It's a controlled chaos is how I can describe it. In this madness, it's not madness for the sake of being mad. There's a genius behind it. Especially how kau tengok, kau takkan sedar pun, tapi why am I happy to see the Serpo again? Contoh, why do I Mamat ni kalau tak macam best friend, why am I so fucking scared of this character now? What's going on kan? So it's well crafted lah. It's well crafted. That's what I can say.
Mute.
Okay, let's start balik waxing lyrical for nothing. So I'm just like saying after Munir talking about aliens, we shall not talk about the hantus. And but I think there's also a comment, whether or not you've noticed it or not, or that you've read about it or not. What's the importance of the One Piece anime in this anime? Kau tahu tak?
Apa dia? One Piece anime? Apa? In relation to this show?
To this show, ya. Yeah.
Kenapa?
Adakah chat akan...
Oh, the voice Is it the voice actor?
Voice actor.
You have like... have Luffy and Zoro saying some disgusting things in the show.
So you're aware that there's two of them. So Luffy is voiced by what's her name? Tebu mana? Tebu Oba-chan.
Tebu Granny. Finally dia voice actor tu pegang watak yang kena sikit dengan umur dia.
kurang hajar tu lah. She actually voices Luffy. What's her name? What the fuck? Anybody? Anyway. And then for the Serpo, collectively, is the guy who voiced Zoro, Roronoa Zoro, which is macam mana nak cakap? Yeah, but I've got another bonus seiyuu actually, which is the voice for the nama dia Nakai Kazuya. The voice for the bloody big flatwood monster sumo wrestler is Crocodile.
Penuh dengan One Piece.
Whether it was done on purpose, I'm not sure. Apparently nama dia Otomo Ryuzaburo. It's quite old lah. I think he's an older chap. Yeah, but so we got 3 One Piece. But anyway, back to Amber lah. Kau punya komen pasal our Turbo Granny or Turbo Obachan. What are your thoughts about her?
Tu mula-mula tengok memang terus teringat apa ni, Mob Psycho. Tapi pelik ke kenapa like this supernatural being which is Turbo Granny tu dia nak kan Winnie si Okokun tu. Aku macam aku tak tahu apa logical reason di sebalik benda tu, and then like somehow benda tu bagi macam effect ke power ke dekat Okokun ni kan. Macam benda tu I have no idea macam mana nak apa kita boleh expect dekat karakter Turbo Granny ni individual, sama ada dia akan jadi something villainous ke ataupun something yang akan bagi positive impact terhadap karakter Okokun ni. Dia macam Yuji Itadori tapi dia boleh control Sukuna tau, tapi dengan bantuan Momo lah. So benda tu macam menarik ke nak tengok benda tu. Macam mana dia nak reveal benda tu. Ya.
So one more thing, just nak tambah since tadi aku cakap pasal reference tadi tu kan. Okay, so macam Amber Heard tadi dah cakap about tu lah Turbo Granny tu. One of the things yang not only aku suka and kenapa aku rasa it makes the manga tu macam solid despite all the craziness is that these are things macam referred from real myths and urban legends lah. Sebab mula-mula aku pun terkejut yang Turbo Granny ni memang well ada lah orang kat Jepun percaya tau. Kan dia suka racing dengan kereta kat highway, duk takut ke orang bagi orang accident tau. So dia memang ada urban legend macam kalau kat Malaysia ni kita kata Volkswagen kuning lah kat Karak kan. Kat Japan dia cakap saya memang ada Turbo Granny. Kau bayar kau tengah drive berapa kilometer power kau tengok side mirror ada nenek duk follow sebelah tu. Mana tak accident kau. So Turbo Granny ni and many other villains and side characters, supporting character kau akan nampak dalam manga ni and anime ni, dia kan ada some real life punya references. So that add some texture to the characters and the plot line tau. So dia bukan something yang from nothing, okay ni cerita dia. Walaupun kau tak tahu kenapa, kau rasa macam I can dig with this plot ke this character. So dia punya that real life references even if we don't know the reference. Sebab mula-mula fikir macam apa benda Turbo Granny ni benda kan, tapi cerita dia macam so detail rupanya dalam terowong ni it's so well crafted. Then kau realise macam ada real life references. So this is another good aspect of the show. Dia memang banyak buat research. The mangaka banyak buat research. Dia macam level bukanlah sampai up to that level, but sama macam 20th century boys lah. Sebab kau tengok mangaka dia tulis about almost everything in the manga and macam he has to read this thing. So that's, aku rasa macam mangaka ni pun very minat in all this. Ni lah benda-benda occult lah. Macam occult kun, so dia masukkan into dia punya manga. Mute.
I mean, I'm putting this video on not for us to keep quiet to watch, but we can talk over it lah. But this is exactly, it's not found footage ke apa. This is actually a Wi-Fi commercial. So this guy in the car, wait for it.
Oh, nak pergi try.
Wait for it. Mana dia? Wait for it. Tak nampak tadi.
Alah.
Wait.
Laju siap.
Menggelabah kau.
So kan when OKARUN was in the tunnel, he saw blood prints. But they had to stop the car to find what the hell was that. Let me just do this.
Bodoh.
So look at the front of the car. Look at the car. Oh, nani correct. Oh, Tabo Obacha.
Tabo Obacha.
So and then dia kata now aku nak forward sikit lah because otherwise we'll spend too much time. But dia kata we'll use a different camera now. Okay, continue. So this the urban legend says that this hantu is seen in a prefecture called Hyogo. Hyogo ni, if you've heard of a city called Kobe beef kan. Tengok ni before I describe. Okay, Hyogo is actually the spot. Nampak?
Laju gila.
What the fuck?
Babi ya.
So it's pretty much near the Rokko Mountains, northeast of the city of Kobe. And if you want to go to that spot, it's like 15 minutes on the train. And I think the spot nearest to it was there's a famous cup noodle museum, which is pretty much in that area lah. So kalau kau drive daripada Osaka ke Kobe nak pergi cup noodle tu, kalau nasi kau tak baik, kau jumpa Tebo Granny. So that's where she's from lah. So that video actually was an advert for Wi-Fi. Kau dia laju gila. Gunalah Wi-Fi Tebo Granny. Tapi apparently there is also a film loosely based on this Granny lah, called The Crone. The Crone, C-R-O-N-E, from 2013. Pasal aku tak minat horror. Aku tak bobo lah video. You can find it out yourself. But now, Jamal, what are your thoughts now? Because we now see that the fact that the two, nak kata belief system, bukan belief system, but seorang tak percaya hantu, seorang tak percaya UFO, but somehow the two things that they don't believe in is now connected to them. Bukan connected to them. You know, entangle lah, because I think both of them have powers. Okay, because now the ghost disbeliever now is being possessed, and now the UFO disbeliever has hyper or telekinetic powers. But you could argue that as being, there's more being due to herself than being an occult thing. I mean, I thought it was quite clever. Not that clever, but that's just me being simple-minded. What are your thoughts lah? Anyway, ini as we say, baru episode 1. But I got a feeling this will be the base of where we are going for the whole story lah kot.
For me, it's a classic storytelling punya, I wouldn't call it technique, but it's a classic storytelling punya thing lah, where for you to make not to make interesting characters, but for you to make a story / character interesting, you need to bring out the character. You put the character in situations that they have never experienced before. Then the true character the true character will come out, because they have to do things outside of their comfort zone. They have to do things in the way that they have never done before. They have to use their resources and ability to the fullest to solve the situation and get out of trouble. So that is a very classic storytelling punya ni. Now, in common storytelling in common character development atau buat story arc, especially macam kau tengok the classic 3-act structure lah, 5-act structure, whatever act structure pun, the way to achieve this is conflict. So if you get a very well written series atau story, you can see that every character has a very clear voice, and every character's conflict is put to the fore, and then it's the situation that they find themselves in that puts them against each other, and then that clash creates the conflict. So the conflict has to resolve, character 1 has to resolve, character 2 has to resolve, and however they resolve will affect the other character. Faham tak? So that's how you create a compelling story, sebab the arc is in there. Jadi bila kau tengok dalam cerita ni, usually when you do that, bila kau design the conflict or whatever not, you will always do it within the context of the person's character or the person's background. And kalau you buat satu genre, you have enough material to go around. Sebab okay, ini cerita supernatural. So for supernatural, I'll take a recent anime I've watched, which is a manga that I've read back in school 20 plus years ago, which is Ushio and Tora. One of my favorite titles back in back in school. Sebab aku just suka dia punya art style. It's very dark. I like some of the designs of the onis, of the demons. So and the lore is great. The lore is that the nine-tailed fox, when it is retreating after almost being killed, it wrapped the tectonic plates that held up the entire Isle of Japan together. So while it wants to heal, as a way to protect itself from being killed by the people who were chasing it from mainland China. So the entire story reveals this towards in the final third arc of the entire series. Yang macam, patutlah aku kecil-kecil tak ada mak, dan patutlah bapak aku Sami yang tak boleh diharap, sebab bapak aku kena jaga aku dan kena protect aku punya monastery ni, sebab spear of the beast ada kat bawah rumah, and then mak aku, which is bini dia, adalah the third or the fourth in the generation yang kena jaga the force field to make sure that tak ada orang boleh kacau this nine-tailed fox. So if by me explaining that premise to you, you know that there's a lot of shit going on, right? Do I have to tell the story about the mother? Do I have to tell the story about the father? Do I need to reveal the mommy issues that the kid has or the daddy issues that the kid has? When the kid finds the spear of the beast, how does he find it? When he finds it, how pissed will the father be? Faham tak? There's so many things that you can put the character in, or rather there's so many situations and circumstances that you can put the character in to create that conflict. Okay? So, and itu dah dalam supernatural punya setup tau. And then ini aku tak masuk lore lagi. Aku tak masuk nak explain, nak exposition macam mana Nine Fox Tale tu, macam none yet. And when you hear me saying it alone, you macam dah banyak benda nak kena cerita ni. And it's very easy to go down the rabbit hole of kita nak kena focus on this character, kita nak kena focus on this character, kita kena focus on the spear. So that is how difficult it is to write a simple story, even though you have a great idea boleh tulis novel. So for this anime, bila dia ambil a premise which is supernatural, yang macam Munif dah bagi kita what do you call that? Bukan spoiler, tapi dia dah macam dah bagi kita teaser, yang satu ada banyak lagi genre-genre lain yang akan masuk. And then itu dah satu hal dah. Bila kita tengok kat supernatural ni, kalau kita petik urban legend je, you know the East Asian countries or nations, kalau bab-bab hantu, bab-bab urban legend ni, uish, kau jangan. Kalau kita kata Turbo Granny ni kat Hyogo, kat Kobe, confirm kat Tokyo punya prefecture ada satu Turbo Granny. Kau pergi kat Ryukyu in down south, confirm ada satu Turbo Granny. Kau pergi kat Hokkaido up north, confirm ada satu Turbo Granny. So that is the amount of diversity they have. So if you can start to imagine how tiring or how much work the writing has to be, because like macam you have to pick and choose. Hantu mana, Turbo Granny. Bila kita Turbo Granny ni, aku nak ambil Turbo Granny bulat-bulat urban legend ke, aku nak tukar sikit, aku nak flex. So there's so many things for you to do. So it is not easy. And you can see that, for example, if I take Demon Slayer, a very, very well written series, to the point that kalau kau dissect cerita tu, sebagai seorang student yang nak tulis series atau nak tulis cerita, that is the case study that you should learn. If you want to write a story, this is how you write it. Or rather, if you do something that is not paling kurang fundamentally macam Demon Slayer, your story will cloud. So Bleach is a great example. Premise everything there, story cloud towards the final third arc of the whole series. So it's very difficult because it's very hard for you to juggle. Benda ni macam interesting, benda ni macam interesting. So when they were able to take, at least in the first 2 episodes of the anime, which is the first 2 issues of the manga, in just 2 episodes, dia dah boleh set up 2 karakter, 1 monster, 1 alien serpo yang recurring, 1 turbo granny yang bagi power, granny actual Momo yang mungkin dia ni akan ada menjadi supporting character yang akan bagi all the lore punya exposition. Lepas tu, okay, serpo ni alien sebab dia dah establish guna OKARUN punya ni. Turbo granny ni supernatural sebab dan dia dah establish guna Momo. Benda tu je, lepas tu dia nak kena lawan, dia nak kena introduce the power system, dia nak kena introduce the character punya interaction. The moment aku start listing ni, kau dah macam pening kepala, macam mana kau nak buat ni? In 2 18-minute episodes, which is originally based on a 16-page manga, 1 issue, 16-page manga, 1 issue. So, you sit down and you just let that sink. How the fuck did a mangaka, or does a mangaka, figure this shit out? So, this is testament to how good of the mangaka punya understanding is with what he wants to write. So dia kena ada layer benda ni. So macam kita buat communication strategy masa kau buat branding, kau kena ada layer benda ni. Bila kau nak tulis cerita ni, benda yang kau nak tampilkan paling depan sekali, OKARUN ni adalah vizier Bleach yang sebenarnya dia minat UFO. So that shit is its own internal conflict. Aku tak percaya dengan ghost, kau ni kolot. Aku percaya dengan alien. Shit. Nenek mak lampir telan aku punya batang, aku punya connect, and I have superpowers because of that. So like, it will come to a point, I won't be surprised and dia macam, wait, so you can take out the nenek and the curse away from me, but I like having the powers. Because it released this cool anti-hero dude inside of me yang macam Sasuke. And I think that is the real me inside. Faham tak? That in itself is a conflict. So you kena faham how this mangaka set that shit up. So whatever he is telling is putting that forward. So how do we tell the people that this guy is an awkward dude? So kita kena buat semua scene yang dia awkward. Macam mana kita nak tunjuk kat orang dia ni adalah nerd UFO gila babi. So kita kena buat scene macam ni. Macam mana nak menunjukkan dia ni nerd yang paling-paling nerd? Dia percaya UFO, dia tak percaya supernatural, kita letak dia dalam supernatural punya ni. Nampak tak? So it becomes a formula, but the moment you realize the formula, you still have to write it out, make it compelling. And this is where he has to rely on, okay, now I need another foil. I need the girl to be the perfect foil for him. Works in the same way so they interact with each other. So I do not know how they do it. This is me breaking it down. And I would love to be a fly on the wall when during the early days when dia tengah duduk jadi assistant mangaka tu, lepas tu dia macam, shit, I think this is an idea lah. Mungkin dia pergi lepak dengan member dia pergi lalu apa lorong mana nak pergi makan sushi ke apa benda ke, lepas tu dia nampak benda tu when he gets inspired. I would really love to be part of that process because that is where the genius is at. Because like Taite Kubo, this is the difference. I like to use Bleach only because I know you are well versed in Bleach, Kudo, and you like it and I so like it. Kalau kau nak compare in terms of premise, in terms of layering everything and writing the character and up, they are pretty much equal. Sama macam Kaiju number 8 because it's a recent anime. You can see that, okay, these characters are written well. Dia orang dah set up dah. Tapi where it fails is when the characters are being written. So Bleach, the characters tell you things. Dia lawan dulu. Masa dia menang atau the moment sebelum dia kalah, sebenarnya aku takkan boleh kalah sebab, ataupun masa dia tengah rasa power up, oh kenapa aku tiba-tiba rasa power up, oh mungkin ini cerita dia. That is how they tell. So Dragon Ball Z is the chief culprit in this. So kau kena blame Toriyama, walaupun pada zaman dia benda ni perlu. But sekarang macam Kaiju number 8, kau tak ada benda tu, whereby macam dia discover as the fight, and then dia sendiri karakter tu macam, kenapa aku boleh buat benda ni benda ni aku boleh buat. Kau ke buat aku tadi? Mana aku dah buat benda ni? Aku ingat aku mana faham, aku tunjuk tangan aku je. Nampak tak? That is an interaction. But that is the show. even though it is showing and telling. But because we see the showing first, Momo punya banter balik dekat dia, kita ambil benda exposition tu as macam, oh shit, these characters are self-aware characters. That is the beauty. So this is how I feel this is how the mangaka figures it out for these early parts. Dan aku rasa the moment kita dah suka characters macam Kaiju number 8, the moment you understand the power system, the premise, the Kaiju system, whatever, that's where dia kata macam, okay, aku dah tak payah explain benda ni kat kau. I just have to let the characters do their stuff. Character ni depressed. So kalau dia depressed, apa? Dia lari lah. So aku tak boleh bagi dia story arc yang paksa dia duduk kat bandar. Sebab dia tengah depressed, so dia akan lari. So the next arc, dia kena lari. Dan sebab dia lari tu, ada hantu nak intercept dia. Sebab apa? Dia dah keluar daripada rumah yang ada seal. Nampak tak? It sounds so textbook, but we've seen so many stories fail to do something as simple as this. Apa nama ni? JJK is a chief culprit. Sebab JJK is like kau tengah main 2D fighting game. Mula-mula dia ni lawan dia ni, lepas tu dia jalan macam Final Fantasy, sampai sini okay dia ni lawan dia ni pula. So this is one of the things lah about Dan yang aku rasa macam I just watched 2 anime episodes 18 minit each. Aku tak Google pun. Aku harap Munib bagi primer basic je. And in the first episode I immediately understand everything. And in the second episode simple je. Okay, kita dah balik, kau balik rumah aku lah. Okay, tak boleh masuk rumah. Kenapa? Ada seal. So the entire episode is about them understanding and accepting, oh sekarang aku punya abilities atau keadaan condition aku ni betul-betul ada affected lah. So what you do not see in episode 2 is Momo slowly realizing, shit, nenek aku ni sebenarnya dia tak nyanyok sial. Which you see her clearly saying in the first episode. I love my granny, but I think she's weird because she believes in all this stuff. But I love her anyway because she took care of me. Simple.
I think she's weird because she looks 26 and not 86.
It's so, aku macam, wow. And then bila dia dah jual kau benda tu, and then macam, okay, now let's fight for 5 minutes. Yay. Kau lawan. And then aku macam, what? This dude is a turbo granny kid yang, ni aku kena cakap lah. Okay, in terms of design, bila kita tengok a spirit, a demon, baik ke jahat ke, take over a person, typically you see a full body transformation. Right? Sama ada, and then in our Malay culture, kita jarang nampak the manifestation in a physical form of the person after they have been taken over. So kita just nampak dia floating tapi still rupa manusia lagi. So this is where Japanese manga and pop culture benang. The mangaka made a fucking turn the granny into a suit of armor. Dia jadi macam body suit for the boy. Like, who would have thunk? You would think the boy akan transform, which you saw, tapi bila lepas dia transform, okay, dia macam ada mask, tutup badan dia. Like, bro, like, that is like mecha punya treatment where you pakai suit. Like, how do you even think of this? Right? And it's insane. Because I rarely get this from the comics that I'm currently reading from the West. Tapi macam, yeah, you guys do this like, benda ni macam kau makan ramen hari-hari kau boleh buat benda ni. So that is creativity lah. It is just, I think this is a very inspired anime that I hope for the current 100 plus episodes he is getting right lah, because Munib is endorsing it gila babi, so aku percaya he's definitely getting it right. Otherwise Munib makan maki cerita ni.
Anyway, apa what the hell, salah betul tu. Apa? Yeah, before I forget. Salah button lagi. Mayumi Tanaka is the voice for beg pardon. Yeah. Mayumi Tanaka is the voice for the granny who voices Luffy. Here she is. Kejam juga lah Munir hang cakap dia sesuai dengan
dia. Ajak.
So dia duduk jadi budak, jadi Luffy kan. Ni jadi nenek. Bawa kena sikit.
Anyway, so but I don't know, but this is probably simplifying a bit.
Cok, aku nak kena mention. Ni aku nak tanya Munib. Munib, adakah Ken, aku panggil dia Ken, aku tak nak panggil dia OKARUN. Adakah dia ada banyak-banyak personality dan is there some part in the next 100 plus episodes yang dia akan cuba assume different personalities to figure out who he really is? Because aku rasa macam benda ni dia foreshadow masa episod 2 bila balik rumah rambut dia afro. Lepas tu bila makcik tu hilang rambut dia jadi nerd. Lepas tu rambut dia jadi tajam. Lepas tu rambut dia jadi putih. Aku macam ini foreshadowing character change ke apa benda ni? So, adakah aku terlalu overthink ataupun
dia macam cakap lah, semua karakter dah ni will have their developments through as the volumes go lah. Tapi aku rasa one thing yang aku suka OKARUN ni is that dia punya development pula is more to I guess he learn things along the way lah, but at the same time aku rasa it's more to revealing the qualities that even he didn't think ada situ. Sebab number one kita tunjuk dia establish dengan OKARUN is that he has a massive confidence punya problem kan. Yang episode 1 tu that one is very obvious. Tapi episode 2 tu dia boleh cakap dengan Momo yang once this is all done you can go back to ignoring me again kan. And dia bukan cakap nada merajuk macam I know my place in the world. It is what it is kan. Tapi as they go through macam kau akan tengok he will so to speak develop in personality, tapi it's done in a way yang untuk tunjuk like sebenarnya turns out he can be like this, turns out he has that spunk and turns out dia macam ni. So it's quite an interesting way to go about it lah. Macam cakap lah, I just love most of the characters in this manga sebab it doesn't feel like as full dia punya development tu. Dia macam he could have been this all along, cuma dia macam confidence your problem kan. Yang pasal rambut dia jadi macam-macam tu, yang tu memang for because walaupun dia watak utama, at the same time OKARUN is also the comic relief lah. Tapi yang kelakar OKARUN ni macam Jamal cakap tadi, kau tak nak panggil dia Ken kan, nak panggil OKARUN kan. So, aku nak panggil dia OKARUN. Kau nak panggil dia Ken kan. Tapi kau tengok, bila kau dah baca sampai mana aku baca the latest chapter kan, aku before the anime ni aku completely lupa nama dia Ken. Sebab Momo meant it you don't effing use that name ever again. Sampai 150 chapter semua orang memang panggil dia OKARUN. Aku lupa nama betul. Bila tengok anime macam betul ni nama dia lah, celaka. Dia betul-betul panggil dia OKARUN sampai habis.
Hang kena faham kenapa aku panggil dia Ken. Sebab moment macam aku terkesima macam Kudo masa moment ending meletup I am awkward. Waktu macam what's your name? TAKAKURA kat belakang tu aku macam wow. Like if there was a hook in an anime, that is probably the best hook I remember for a long time. Aku macam babi lawak sial. That is my immediate reaction. Gelak.
Lah tu another thing yang aku nak tambah on top of that. Yang ni pun sebab tadi kita cakap saya OKARUN kan. Tapi yang masa Amber Heard pun ada cakap tadi about the turbo granny itself. Macam mana, what's the dynamic with the turbo granny kan. Lepas ni adakah dia akan jadi itulah macam typical cakap typical shonen trope kan, the darkness power yang the MC kena control ke, much like the QB ke macam Ichigo punya hollow transformation ke apa. Is it gonna be something like that kan? Dia macam ni lah. Bila aku cakap watak-watak dalam ni dia akan ada development dia, even the ones that are not like the main characters and all. Aku just cakap Turbo Granny will surprise you guys. Kau akan tengok macam mana develop this whole story, because kena ingat Turbo Granny is not just a power. Turbo Granny is also a character. So what's going on with that? And so korang saksikan lah nanti.
Looking forward for that then. Okay, I want to get us going lah, because we almost hitting the 2-hour mark. But I'm gonna ask this like final question to Amber. So do you think we have peak anime in the making now? You know, in the breath of yang kita duk fikir pasal, you know, we've got the dying down, the dwindling down of the big names at the moment, because yelah nak make way for what we're gonna have for the next few more years. Kau rasa dan boleh.
Pasal benda tu it's actually quite tough juga sebenarnya, sebab waktu kita sembang pasal Lucy Samurai, like bila kita cakap animation dia cantik, like story dia semua, tapi kita tahulah dia ada inconsistency dia sendiri throughout the season lah. So aku risau juga benda tu dengan Dan. Aku tak baca manga, aku tak tahulah cerita. Dia punya power system apa semua kan. So I hope for that kalau Dan dia boleh konsisten sampai episod akhir, aku rasa it could be a potential anime that akan jadi the big anime untuk this new current generation juga.
Itulah kan.
So looking forward juga sebenarnya, sebab dia macam kita tak tahu lah macam mana dia punya like the direction akan pergi tau. Dia macam could go anywhere tau. Macam dia bukan macam standard shonen anime lah, kita dah tahu lah ni villain dia. So macam there's something else lah. So kalau dia boleh konsisten sampai hujung season, dan it could potentially be a big anime juga.
Because kita pun tak banyak sangat character, and I was hoping that we would be introduced to the nenek, I mean not Tabugani but nenek Ayase Momo kan in this episode, but it looked like it won't be until next week. So kita will just have to wait lah until we'll get about more.
Kudu, since kau cakap pasal nak tunggu new character si muncul, aku just nak tambah di sini. Dalam all the characters yang kita akan nampak in season 1 based on the intro yang ditunjuk ni kan.
Okay.
Aku cakap Gigi is the guy yang this other guy kau nampak in the intro yang dia buat mulut macam sial kan. Dia dalam Dan ni, he's the guy yang paling banyak buat Google. That asshole. Memang yang tu lagi seorang selenga juga.
I was just wondering. I think I know which one you're talking about. And actually aku jahat juga. Aku baca fast forward dalam manga. Okay. So yes. That as well. Like for example, if any of you guys minat seiyus, like myself, I'll be a seiyu otaku. Like I'm a big fan of Ayaneru or Ayane Sakura, who voices quite a lot of characters macam Nightfall in the assistant to Lloyd Forger in Spy Family, one of the quintuplets in Quintessential Quintuplets. She's Yotsuba Nakano. She's going to be this other person called, I think, Airi, and there's going to be a pink-haired girl called
Aira.
Yeah, Aira, sorry. So I'm looking forward to see her as well, because she's voicing her. And who else is there? So we've mentioned that one. Okay, so kita nak pergi ke section yang seterusnya, which is the Q&A. I think we've got a few questions knocking about, so we'll get there now. So soalan-soalan daripada chat, I've made a few marks. We'll try to go for the one yang macam relevant to the topic at hand. Okay, this is a bit of a soalan untuk para pelis. Seiko Ayase Nenek Momo Ayase hot tak bagi korang? Pasal tak keluar lagi kan, so this sounds like a manga, but I think everybody kind of seen her in the OP. I do not know what to make of her, but I do not know why she looks young.
Yo, that's the grandma? Shit, I thought that's like some other character.
My reaction is goddamn.
I thought she was
God
like,
damn.
okay lah, diorang akan jumpa orang ni dan orang ni yang akan macam take them under her wing. Okay, well, she does probably take them under her wing. Macam, is she like a Tsunade yang macam pakai dia punya magic powers to keep her looking young or something?
Manalah gua tahu.
Begitulah. It's a Tsunade type.
That said,
And kau pun tahu perangai kasar Momo ni dapat dari mana pun kau akan tengok.
Okay, looking forward to that.
Aku rasa dia punya character design is pretty cool. The baseball bat is a very nice touch, or the bat is a very nice touch. But more importantly, dia punya
Beehive.
tu. That's because if you look back in the last 5 years to 10 years, there are no prominent silhouettes of any characters yang ada beehive. And then you can use that as a very nice design element where the hair can do so many things. Like even in Demon Slayer, you did not see that being used. Just reflect macam tak ada. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. Our next question, aku macam tarik terus muka Munif because dia baca manga but try to not answer it in detail, but perhaps how you answer it might not be telling you the story anyway. Soalan untuk panelis, especially for manga readers, korang manga DANDADAN chapter last or ending akan mengecewakan fans tak macam Jujutsu Kaisen atau AOT? Ini macam conjecture je, because it's not finished yet. But kalau
is
the story being well written tak? Kau rasa ada
kalau Munif dah endorse.
dia macam ni lah. The macam mana dia kalau one thing kalau kita cakap saya Jujutsu Kaisen dengan AOT tu, kenapa macam ramai kata ending dia disappointing, it's also because of the overarching punya story tau, of the very complicated overarching punya story pasal. So dia macam dia punya weight tu lagi besar, so dia lagi senang nak gagal lah, so to speak. So bukanlah aku kata dia gagal, tapi because of the overarching stories for years, ada continuity macam ni, and then it's however it lands, it's bound to disappoint people. The beauty of DANDADAN ni, the way dia susun cerita dia is that, macam aku kata lah, dia macam X-Files, macam Supernatural. Dia ada some recurring villains and overarching story, ada arc sikit. Tapi for the most part, dia tak ada lah, every episode kena super interconnected towards each other. And then macam, dia ni mestilah Gojo yang terpaling ni. No, mestilah Yuji yang terpaling ni. Dia tak ada. At the end of the day, semua kegilaan ni is tied to the two main characters yang go through all this kegilaan. And you will realize, as you go through the story, you are getting what you want every episode. Cumanya bila nak cakap saya ending tu, all you want is for Momo and OKARUN to be together. Itu je. Kalau dia dapat Momo and OKARUN tu cantik, be together at the end of the day, and throughout the journey, every episode is just stupid fun, crazy fun, mindless fun, cool fun, emotional tiba-tiba, mindless fun, lawak, fun. But in the end, they ended up together. It's so easy to stick the landing. So easy. Sebab that's how they format the show. So aku rasa banding dengan benda lain yang super serious, overarching stories lah, benda semua ni, they set themselves up to, bukan set themselves up to fail lah, tapi it's lagi susah nak berjaya when you structure it like that. Even One Piece one is at risk of the same thing. Sebab dia everything so interconnected, so that, and it leads to what? Siapa jadi Pirate King? What is the One Piece? The perfect ending pun orang akan debate and gaduh about it in the end. You know that's gonna happen. Tapi untuk DANDADAN, kau ada episode 1 and all the episodes in between before the finale, kau tengah enjoy. Every day is like enjoyment. Macam kau tengok X-Men 97 ke, X-Files ke apa, episode ni best, episode ni best. Kau tak fikir macam kau tengok Jujutsu Kaisen kan, jangan kata masa ending, halfway through story, lepas Shibuya tu fandom dah start bergaduh lah. Dia bergaduh tu, ni cerita pasal Yuji patut main karakter, no dia patut Gojo main karakter, patut dia ni paling kuat, kata dia ni paling kuat, kenapa dia ni kena one shot macam tu je. The bad vibe tu dah start macam lepas Shibuya lah pun. Tu sebab dia there's that ini bahaya, the double-edged sword of continuity. Continuity memang best. Tapi when the continuity is too hard juga, orang kan no. Masa episod 3 dulu, macam mana ni episod 326 macam ni? Masa episod 3 dia dah establish macam ni. But there's no such thing in DANDADAN. The continuity is the relationship between MOMO and OKARUN. And all the episodes is just having fun, having fun, dapat power, dapat friends, new enemies, beat them, having fun. At the end of the day, they end up together. Dah, semua orang happy. Itu.
But they will be happy. Okay, aku nak tarik Amber terus pasal we got a question specifically for you. So far, perasaan MOMO akan jadi protagonis yang baik ada tak? I don't know. Is Fat ni kawan kau ke?
Dia selalu juga masuk live apa semua kan. Perasaan juga.
Oh,
Tapi
okay. Anyway.
MOMO akan jadi protagonis baik. So far
ada
perasaan
tak?
MOMO.
So far perasaan MOMO. Macam ni lah. I think in short, kau rasa will she be a good protagonist?
Oh.
Yang best ke tak?
Oh. I think she will lah sebab dia punya personality di lingkungan tu kan. Dia macam ada love-hate relationship. So that tu yang best kan pasal cerita ni. Dia distinct different personality antara MOMO dengan apa nama dia? Ken lah tadi kan.
OKARUN.
That distant OKARUN.
Jangan
That
kau
distant
panggil
personality itu yang best tu sebenarnya. So I think aku tak ada masalah benda ni sama ada dia akan jadi a good character untuk audience ke tak. Tapi bagi aku that relationship dynamic tu akan jadi satu plot progression untuk cerita ni jadi lagi best lah ke depan. Itu aku looking forward lah untuk karakter MOMO dengan Ken.
Yeah, because I mean like you, I mean like everybody, for each of us, I mean I know cakap macam dah baca 10 jilid tapi tengok 2 episod je. Tapi I quite like how the characters are written because dia giara delinquent, kita ingat dia akan one dimensional jahat. Bukan jahat, no, nakal ke apa tak. She's a person with otak, you know.
Dia like real people tu, cakap tu. Dia written is like dia macam dia kawan kau kenal orang macam ni.
Exactly, yeah. So I think at bottom line pun kan untuk apa-apa lah kau tulis cerita tu best, apa benda pasal cerita tu will be sorted lah. Be sorted. Aku rasa kan daripada soalan yang kita okay. This is open to all lah. Kategori ada mungkin Munif without spoiling it too much. Apa perbezaan power system ke kuasa mereka sama?
Okay. Yang ni without heavy spoilers lah. Dia pasal power system ni aku boleh cakap dia akan ada yang recurring. Macam sekarang ni kita dah nampak one power system yang ada is that you can get empowered by being cursed, as shown by ni lah OKARUN lah. So cerita ni akan banyak spiritual hantu-hantu thing, so you figure that out yourself lah. Dia akan ada sedikit consistency di situ with some other characters. Lepas tu then you have orang macam MOMO where spiritual energy / telekinetik is a real thing yang dia pun boleh weaponize. Yang tu pun dia akan ada consistency dia di situ. Tapi the best part lagi yang pasal bila kau cakap power system ni, sebab macam kata lah dunia ni diverse. Dia hantu, sci-fi, mecha, cryptozoology, semua benda wujud dalam dunia ni. And DANDADAN ni dia the main characters punya posse lah cakap, dia punya troop, dia punya group kan. Dia watak dia ramai tau. Aku rasa dalam banyak manga is one of those yang memang the main group tu ramai gila watak. And they are a diverse bunch. Not even all of them are humans. Ada manusia, ada benda ni, ada benda tu, ada benda tu, ada benda ni, with their own sets of power tau. Ada yang di ni biologi dia macam tu. And then ada yang di ni pun kena curse. Lepas tu ada yang this person lah powered by technology tau. Pasal apa kan. So benda yang aku nak cakap di sini is that dia ada power system, tapi at the same time dia ada macam-macam jenis power, but also at the same time kata, so dia tak rasa banyak sangat power tapi serabut, pasal they have set up the world where all this thing is real. Semua benda ni wujud serentak. So power source tu dari merata-rata, kau tak rasa pelik. Sebab contoh, kalau kita compare, kalau Naruto, dia dah cakap saya chakra kan, and the power tier yang develop from the chakra system tu. Lepas tu takkanlah tiba-tiba ni ada bankai, ada full bring lah, ada devil fruit, macam apa benda tengah jadi ni kan, apa jadi dengan chakra kan. Tapi yang pandai dia orang dadan ni, dia episode first establish, ni alien, ni ada hantu. So in that world, what is the power system? Is it sci-fi based body modification sebab ada alien, or is it curses sebab ada hantu? No, dia ada dua-dua. And the fact yang dia kata dua-dua ni wujud means anything can wujud. So power system dia banyak, yet dia tak jaring. It makes sense. But ada some power systems ni yang akan konsisten. There are few characters yang akan ada lebih kurang the same things lah.
Aku rasa bila bila soalan bila Munib jawab pasal point power system ni, what I feel like I can say at this juncture to summarize the difference, because masa Munib start jawab tu, aku terfikir Naruto. Kebetulan pula aku terfikir Naruto masa the previous question, bila siapa tu tanya is it Amber yang dia kata will this story become, ke tanya Munib yang will this be, will it stick the landing or will it be like another JJK. Dan aku pula ada what I feel is not a majority opinion. I felt that in the last 15 to 20 years, the manga that has done this the best is Naruto. Because it's very balanced. It is not the best in everything. I don't know if it's trying to be, but it's very balanced. Kau nak lore ada, kau nak sejarah ada, kau nak power system ada, kau nak power system yang eventually evolve, lepas tu reveal other power systems ada. The story is not like One Piece where dah berapa puluh tahun kita still tak tahu apa benda, siapa yang pegang One Piece tu. In Naruto, okay, you know what, you've grown, you've progressed. So where does your ninja way lead you to? Which is a great dramatic question for an IP. But both all these stories, what they have in common is that no matter how good their power system is, macam One Piece has a brilliant devil fruit yang macam pergi pulau ni hang dapat fruit ni, pergi pulau ni hang dapat fruit ni, cool. The story is inherently tied to the power system. The story is about the power system. The premise is the power system. Dragon Ball Z, power. Naruto, it's all about power. One Piece, yes, it's about the One Piece, but without the devil fruit, you don't have the story. So semua story, Bleach is literally about the Shinigami kan. So semua cerita ni, kalau power system tu tak ada, cerita tu tempang. Sebab you just have characters, that's it. You just have characters that you can pakai baju ni, dia jadi kod ni. Dia pakai baju ni, dia jadi kod ni. So a lot of the writing effort is front loaded onto designing a world, designing a power system that can last the damn distance. So One Piece dengan Naruto managed to navigate this well enough. Naruto made sure from the very beginning, this is my ninja way. So the story is what is Naruto's life, because that is his ninja way. So you nampak dia daripada kecil, daripada sampai dia jadi Hokage. One Piece pula, I want to be the Pirate King, nak cari One Piece. So benda tu dia tak kacau. Tapi banyak manga lain macam Bleach, Culprit, dia gagal. But for this, if I base it on what Munif says just now, the power system comes with the characters. So this is a story about the characters discovering shit. Supernatural, betul. Alien, betul. And now since we know about this world, this is how we are affected by this shit or these shits, and we just live with it lah. So the story is not inherently tied to the power system. You don't need the power system to be cool for it to work, which is the biggest problem with JJK. Kalau you tengok the first 2 seasons, you read the first 150 issues of the manga, macam wow, this is it. This is the next one of the big 3. Tak, ambil kau. Because the mangaka could not figure out where they want to go, because there are too many good ideas and he wants to write them all. And then
Jamal,
yeah.
Lalu aku actually tertarik yang benda yang kau cakap tu, which is aku tak terkata tadi betul lah kau cakap, which is the power system doesn't come with the world of DANDADAN or the world doesn't need the power system, but the power system macam kau cakap ni comes from the characters. And kenapa aku rasa that's a big part of kenapa kita rasa flavor DANDADAN ni unique and lain pada manga lain. Kenapa? Because when the power system is tied to the characters instead of the world, when characters clash, it makes for an unpredictable and interesting punya battle. So sebab tu, contoh kau dah tengok lah episode 1. The Serpo dia ada very defined advancement or limitations of technology. Then ada benda setan apa keluar dari phone ni.
Ada benda phone.
Langsung dia lawan. So sebab bila power system is tied to the characters, macam Jamal cakap tadi, when the characters clash, what happens? You don't effing know. You do not know. Apa jadi ni? Kalau Cakra lawan Cakra, kau tahu okay, dia ni Cakra reserve lagi tinggi ke contoh Oh, dia ni punya earth element dia boleh counter dengan dia ni apa punya element for example. So there are some pathways yang kau nampak boleh jadi tau. Tapi ni alien, lah tu dah hantu keluar pada handphone. Macam apa benda jadi ni? Lah tu alien tu, dia buat macam Ultraman tu, berkesan pula. Kena pula ke hantu ni.
Tapi when I say this, it's not for me. I'm not comparing what power system works and what doesn't, because when talking about power system, you cannot evaluate it from the story, because the moment you evaluate it from the story, you don't care about the power system anymore. The story messed it up. Sebab Bleach punya power system is sweet, alright? It's great. It's about limitations. It's about understanding your role. It's about how you play with your spiritual power. Lepas tu macam chakra system tu is great. Chakra ni dengan chakra ni, elemen ni dapat apa. And then macam chakra ni datang the natural energy of the world. So the world ni mesti ada banyak jenis energy lain. Introduce Sage mode. So benda tu ada. So the power systems are inherently cool. But I feel that when you rely a lot on the power system to shape the characters and all that, and then you fail to do that, then you have nothing else to fall back on. Because one cool thing that Naruto eventually managed to figure out is that kalau kau tengok daripada awal, bila Naruto lawan dan dia kalah, engkau tak training. You have great power tapi engkau tak training. So Naruto had to telan his ego, dia kena train. Bila dia train pula, dan dia start lawan dan dia start realize, okay, if I train to use my abilities better, then I can integrate myself with my friends, then I can be useful to them, then I can have my friends, okay? So the moment he goes down that route, what the mangaka did quite cleverly is that now the power system will mature as you mature. So then you start to see these characters making their power or their abilities their own. Bila Naruto buat Rasengan, dia jadi macam ni. When he plays with wind, it works in a certain way. When another character plays with wind, it works in a certain way. But even then, as good as he was, the mangaka was able to grow that, Kishimoto, it was still bound by how the chakra system works. So with this, it can be anything. Sebab it's purely discovery from Momo to know what she can and cannot control with her telekinesis or her telepathy or whatever you want to call that. And then for Ken / Okarun, selagi dia ada urge to do something physically with his body, and his body can retain some semblance of control and not lose his own consciousness to the Turbo Granny, he can execute it. So now you learn about the power as the characters learn about the power. In Naruto, you don't get that. The power tu, kalau hang kuat level ni, hang boleh buat benda ni. So ni hang kat sekolah, hang kena belajar buat benda ni. Selagi hang tak apply hang punya disiplin dan sebagainya, hang tak akan boleh buat benda ni. Kalau hang tak boleh buat benda ni, hang tak boleh buat benda lain. Nampak tak? So now, the story has to be, what is the school life? This story, anything. It can be Okarun making a stupid statement, and then Momo mengamuk, and then dia orang gaduh, tapi dia kerana gaduh tu, boom, something happens. So it could possibly be that, and that is, I think, where the novelty is. That said, aku tak rasa this mangaka can work in the Naruto punya apa nama ni, IP. Likewise, Kishimoto or Kubo cannot write this. This is too out there. So it's not whether which power system is better. It's not even how you tell it. It's about like macam, do you understand your power system or not? Alright. So do you want to you want to tell a story about the power system, or you want to tell a story about the character? Because if you do it about the character, which I think why Jujutsu Kaisen was really successful early on, and then I think he just couldn't figure it out. Because from early on it was about the power, and then it became about the character, and then it couldn't really decide.
Dia macam fluctuate lah sekali kan. Dia macam flip-flop sikit.
Flip-flop. Because you can have Yuji and then you have Gojo, and everybody loves Gojo, and because he writes it weekly, he knows how people react to Gojo. So he cannot not write Gojo and follow that line. Tapi dia tahu macam aku ada banyak lagi cerita yang best. Tapi hang punya pacing dah terlalu laju. Then too bad lah.
Lah sekali Sukuna MC all along.
Which is the MC all along, which is what everybody read. And
So because
round 4,
you also just wonder that kan we just now di awal session ni kita orang macam pointed out how Tatsu Yoshimoto ni was assistant mangaka to I personally, in my opinion, Tatsuki Fujimoto is a genius, no matter what people say. And then also you got Yuki Kaji, so he probably put it. I may attribute that being assistant to these two good mangakas, and also with the commitment that he wanted to finish his apprenticeship or whatever it is. Because banyak orang ingat dia orang, kalau kau assistant ni kau macam tapi it's up to you lah. Kalau kau masuk kau belajar, kau take in all the good points. Bayangkan kalau dia assistant kepada GG ke, then you might have an issue where you might worry. And if he's impressionable enough to think that that's how a story should be written ke apa. So, and the fact that he actually sorry, yes, go ahead.
Nak tambah sikit je. Dia bukan nak cakap kuasa dua these two side ni sama, dia macam a tangle to each other. Kalau korang perasan waktu episod 2 tu kan, bila that alien datang and Momo cakap loceng rumah dia berbunyi kan, padahal loceng tu hanya berbunyi bila ada like supernatural being yang datang. Tapi bila alien tu datang, bunyi loceng. So like dia macam ada something yang entangle antara dua konsep ni. So macam kita nak tahu lah apa macam mana dia nak reveal entanglement tu antara dua konsep ni So
aku pula terfikir apa tau, kenapa loceng tu tak bunyi? Sebab Okarun Sasa ada turbo granny. Because the house is the supernatural house punya, the loceng is the supernatural punya loceng, and Okarun cannot go into the house because of the seal. You remove the seal, which is not a problem. At the front door, the loceng should be ringing. So
jadi sebab dia kena suppress juga kot.
Aku rasa it is a physical loceng. So kalau kau alien kau apa, kau tekan loceng tu, then the wrong bunyi will come out lah.
The wrong bunyi keluar.
Okay.
That's my first thought. My second thought was that macam mana boleh bunyi loceng? Sebab you rasa benda ni spiritual, benda ni supernatural. Tapi bila keluar benda tu macam alien. What the fuck? Faham tak? Aku rasa macam wow.
Even Okarun ni explanation lepas tu kan, dia kata ada orang yang kata nampak hantu ni pun report UFO sighting juga kan. So what's up with that?
Foreshadowing lah. Which is foreshadowing lah in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like it because he so far lah the 2 episodes yang I'm gonna probably start the manga next week. Yang he has been able to tell and share factoids or set up these two very different and contrasting. He has been able to juxtapose it so far without any major macam issues for me. Macam tak nampak benda ni macam tak boleh jive tapi dia paksa juga. And I think it is largely driven by how Momo and Okarun react to each other. So which I think is very solid writing lah. Dia macam you faham macam mana nak cerita, nak tulis karakter, and to let the character just tell people about themselves. And then as they are telling that, they are revealing the world around them, which is it sounds so easy. It's very tough to do. Very, very tough to do.
Okay, there are actually quite a few more questions, but although minta maaf saya tadi kata nak layan soalan-soalan luar topik after soalan dalam topik, tapi I think masa macam tak mengizinkan sangat kalau kita ada one more last segment before we finish, and we've been at it for 2.5 hours. So you guys don't worry, your questions will not be ignored. Myself and the panelists, kalau sesiapa antara kita orang boleh jawab the soalan, kami akan jawab dalam komentar kat bawah. So one of the questions was like, apasal Jojo underrated lah kat Malaysia? Jawab nanti. But kita kita tidur kompat kalau
panjang perbualan ni.
Aku bagi one line answer je. Aku bagi a quick one line answer sebagai mukadimah. Tak pernah underrated, but it is not a mainstream title. Itu je. Itu saja.
Makes sense.
People who like it, people who look for that thing will never underrate Jojo. I read it since I was standard 5. Aku tak, it's not a mainstream title. Itu je. And kau kena admit the art style is not the friendliest to the eye for a first time reader. Itu je. But the first big panel of a stand, kau nampak the moment kau nampak stand yang handsome tu, kau nampak orang. Dah, that's it. You're converted. So never been underrated.
Uncle masa mula-mula nak baca Jojo tu, orang bagi Uncle pisang, tapi Uncle takut betul. Tak ada apa. Anyway, okay. It used to be on YouTube. Jojo Fans Weekend. Don't search for it. Anyway. Muhammad Abdul. Anyway, okay, kita akan ke segmen seterusnya, itu harapan. Well, harapan, of course lah. Looking forward lah to see what it's all about. But the thing is, tak nak kata apa lagi. Munif, I mean, I know you've read a lot, but your hopes, for example, with regards to how they're gonna do this season before we do our next session?
Untuk harapan aku, dia actually berkait sikit with what's going on with the Uzumaki punya anime tu, from what I've heard. Kan. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it too. Sebab DANDADAN
ada soalan juga tadi dalam chat.
So macam DANDADAN, as far as I'm concerned, the story is not my concern, character development is not my concern. Aku dah baca sampai chapter daripada last week, paling latest, and memang I've loved every second of it. So no worries about the IP tu punya narrative itself lah. Cumanya ialah anime adaptation. So kalau harapan tu is just keep up the quality, or even better, you know, you're saving some crazy shit for the season finale ke apa kan, the feast for our eyes and all that kan. So itulah bila aku tengok what happened dengan Uzumaki tu. So not that, please. Itu je. Keep up what you're having right now. Itulah dia.
Siapa buat Uzumaki Amber, kau ingat tak?
Itu Jijo itu tak ingat lah.
Tak. Studio anime.
Yang anime.
Bukan apa.
Tak ingat.
Kena
tapi
scam.
distributor dia Adult Swim distributor, tapi animation studio tak ingat.
Because it's meant to be Netflix ke apa. Because diorang cakap something along the lines of tak buat Junji. Now you know why we are not talking about it. Because I've only watched the trailer and we discussed about it in our video 2 weeks ago. Amber, you remember? And then kita orang impressed lah. But obviously images tu semua dari episod 1 lah. Aku tengok sikit je yang episod yang lari dekat pantai tu kan. Apa ni? Macam Tadika punya animation.
Itu yang kita risau tu je.
Anyway, harapan Amber for let's hope it's going to be peak anime for the rest of it.
Ya, harapan mostly harap dia tak ulang macam mana yang elusive samurai buat dia ada cerita yang best, tapi dia punya animation consistency tu macam terumbang ambing. So harapnya Sansaru boleh lah konsisten dari segi animation quality tu sampai ke hujung season, tak ada tiba-tiba pertengahan season. Biasanya anime macam ni dia akan like pertengahan season mesti ada something yang orang akan komen punya pasal animation dia. So harapannya tak ada lah benda tu, and nak tengok juga karakter-karakter lain muncul macam mana dia orang punya introduction apa semua.
One of the works that they did was this one called Eizouken. It won the Crunchyroll Awards. I mean, because of the fact that it's a very new studio, it's like I'll just share this kejap je. Okay, pasang mana. So just to have an idea supaya let's hope tak menjadi Uzumaki lah. Tengok Devilman 775 Eizouken. This is the one yang menang Crunchyroll tahun berapa tah, I think. Keep your hands off Eizouken. Actually, I have not watched it, but I've heard it's a bit weird. Tengok, 48.13. And of course, winning that, DANDADAN 865. Look at that. So, one shit. But this one was on Netflix, I think. Japan Sings. Aku tengok ni a bit depressed with it, but I wondered it was more to the story whether or not with the artwork. This one I've not seen, but I think it's based on artwork by. The artwork looks a bit familiar, as if it's being done by one of those illustrators that I quite like, but I don't think so lah. Tapi tak adalah macam a list of crap stuff. 778, 739, 818, 779, 758. Okay, now we got the crap ones like Devilman. I think we'll be okay, good. And a few unrated ones. So I think in short, I think we won't be so short lah by Sansaru, hopefully lah. I mean, I don't know, takkanlah tiba-tiba ni lah. Different studio, different. Okay, Jamal, harapan anda?
Looking forward to reading the manga. I'm looking forward to enjoy the visual feast. As I said earlier, aku rasa it's like me watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Japanese version multiplied by 10, of course, scaled up on a weekly basis, which is fucking insane. Because I think that is a huge milestone lah, sebab you get really great animation tapi dia bukan multi-genre punya animation yang blend. So only the Japanese know how to do this, and it's great seeing it. But more importantly for me, benda yang aku look forward to discovering, it's not about the IP but about the band that did the opening theme. Sebab lepas Munib komen dengan kau kat dalam group kata opening theme ni best, and then Munib I think he got hold to it. Aku macam, and I heard while watching I heard a little bit of the OP masa tengok first episode dengan of course masa tengok teaser. Aku macam okay, cool. And then pagi semalam, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't sleep. Aku buka YouTube and I stumbled into a brilliant and effing brilliant Tiny Desk concert punya session, which featured Catriel dengan Paco Amoroso, which is from Argentina. And they have 2 songs that had a lot of the same vibes as the DANDADAN punya opening theme, which was the first thing that came to mind when I heard those bits. So macam DANDADAN kan dia akan ulang balik DANDADAN tu. So aku macam that's pretty cool. And then they had 2 songs yang ulang the lyrics in such a way, and then macam music lebih kurang sama. And the first thing that came to mind as I was listening to that is like, okay, shit, I have to check out this band yang Munib kata buat opening theme for DANDADAN. Like, as random as things go. So macam, I'm looking forward to dig that because it could be the first anime title yang aku akan suka visual, aku akan suka the writing, that I might just fall in love with another 1 or 2 Japanese music artists, which is benda yang dah biasa buat, macam lain lah. Sebab music ni lain. the last time I really felt this way was Egoist. Masa aku tengok Cavalry of the Iron Fortress. And Egoist is a pretty cool artist lah, conceptually and so aku macam I'm looking forward to that a lot actually.
Kategori these nuts lah. Anyway, but yeah,
bodoh lah.
Dia the first time I've heard of them, they sang the opening for Yofukashi no Uta, or it's about this vampire girl and this insomniac boy walking around Tokyo at night. So and then lepas tu Mashra obviously lagu tu meletup. Tapi bing bang bang bing bang bang bing bang. Okay. Tapi bing bang bang boom tu
Creepiness is there.
Yes.
Dia orang.
Aku pergi baca some serious article by some media about how they unfortunately arrived at the band name. So aku macam, of all the things, I did not, but when I was going through I think it was a video, I did not realize that they wrote the song for DANDADAN. Okay, there you go.
So apa dia macam ni je lah. Pada anda yang minat muzik Jepang, shut up lah you, pada volume. There is something that Sony been doing on YouTube since COVID called the first take. The concept of the first take is a white room. You go in, you sing anything you want, but you do it in one take. So to you lot, I mean, I'm not putting the music on because it will obviously be taken down like crazy. This is Creepy Nuts, and you see them doing this live, just the two of them, and comments made by people even from the States, and then I think there was some other video they kind of like merged their performances, and they're not super impressed because how I'm not really to hip hop. I think please now. So yeah, so we've got all our harapan lah. So I think we're gonna call it a night lah. Now aku tahu malam masih muda tapi uncle tak remaja dah. I mean my panelist dah masih remaja atau pakcik dah tua, pakcik dah kena tidur. So any final words before we say Tata about, let's just padam this stuff.
Aku masa aku dah tengok overlay kau dah main-main tadi, I really like the art direction in the mangaka's designs. Aku nak mention kat Munib tapi aku lupa. Munib pointed out the line designs yang Ultraman Dada tu. Tapi yang aku suka adalah there were some parts of the overlay, dia ada satu hantu ni, mata dia ada those curly lines, Munib, yang you would typically see that to express mata, pinau and all that. But and that as an element is very common. Okay, in whatever culture, in whatever use, anime ke tak anime ke, it's very common. But he is able, because his art direction is so strong, he is able to take that very simple motif, buat jadi mata untuk alien. Lepas tu alien tu nampak lain. Sebab dia nampak macam ada art. Like usually when you draw alien, you draw a fucking alien, right? You look at One Punch Man, you draw a fucking alien. But yang ni dia macam, you know what, I'm gonna go wild. And I think this is like, kalau American animators yang macam really inspired by this, it's gonna take them another 5 years before they can do in spirit their own dandadans. In terms of the humor, I think they've executed it many times over. It's something that they're really good at. Regular show is once, but aku masa menit tu aku Google macam, oh yeah, I've seen clips of this, but I never knew it was a regular show. SpongeBob is another great, really out of context, non sequitur punya humor. So that is how the Westerners do the same kind of humor macam dandadan. So in terms of that, dia boleh buat. Tapi in terms of the animation, writing characters, animating the characters, moving, like how the humor is just insane. I think it's going to be such a great visual experience at the very least for me. And the only thing that can really fuck it up if it's the story is really bad. But hey, one thing's for sure, the next 100 plus stories episodes worth is gonna be good because Munif is still here. So
Jamal. One thing aku nak tambah sebab Jamal ada komen sikit about the opening kan. Jadi a bit of fun trivia lah. Since kita semua dah sampai episode 2 and we know what the story is about so far based on the information from the 2 episode kan. Kau tengok balik intro tu, dia ada part bila dia tunjuk Okarun dekat tengah. Lepas tu tepi dia ada 2 shiny golden balls.
Ya.
Now you know what that's about.
Sebab tadi aku pergi kat YouTube stream ni, lepas tu Azhar komen. Dia kata dia rasa shiny balls tu MacGuffin, macam the One Piece is a MacGuffin for the One Piece is a MacGuffin for One Piece. Aku macam shiny balls ni MacGuffin untuk dada. So the thing is could be MacGuffin. I don't know, but I'm gonna watch it again lah because watching I can find any excuses to rewatch the opening theme. It's not a problem.
Unpopular opinion. I think Dan punya opening by Creepy Nuts ni is not the best opening for fall anime. No.
Ada orang cakap
tahun ni apa? Untuk aku Kaiju nama 8.
Untuk season ni, untuk fall season, Blue Box official Higadadism.
Okay, nanti aku tengok. Aku tak ada opinion.
Kena usah.
Ya.
Sebab Blue Box is another great anime punya premise yang aku nak tengok tapi aku tak tengok lagi.
It's nice. It's actually quite nice. It's on Netflix. So anybody interested, kita orang ada video 3 minit talking about Blue Box. It's quite
boleh.
Okay. So kita dah sampai ke penghujung ni, and I hope penonton di rumah terhibur dengan sesi borak ulas bedah kami malam ini. So untuk anime musim luruh 2024 ini, kami berharap untuk bakal memberi ulasan secara live stream untuk My Hero Academia Boku no Hero Academia musim ke-7. Just to finish it off lah. Actually kan aku berhenti tengok tau, because aku dah baca manga dia, tapi aku macam pasal aku speed run bila aku baca tu, aku nak bagi habis kan. So I have to admit, hand on heart, aku masa part lawan Ochako lawan tu, aku macam what's happening here at the moment, because you know, so somebody disappeared. Amber is back. So so hopefully we'll be back again, probably not next weekend but the weekend after kot lah. Tapi probably next weekend is the earliest I can call people, if Amber's up to it or anybody else up to finishing My Hero Academia. Dan juga stuff for this season, so this will be a few weeks yet. MF Ghost musim kedua yang boleh ditonton di Amazon Prime dan Crunchyroll. Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Core 3. Did you watch that episode? Aku rasa macam dia recap episode, in my opinion, because I saw, didn't she do that bangkai already? I forgot. So when I watched,
aku rasa the 1000 Year Blood War ni is arriving at the point when they are tired of doing it. So it started with a lot of vigor because it's renewed purpose to betulkan balik the ending, but it has reached a point yang it's not about the effort, but it's about the story itself is a bit dry. So now they orang macam alamak, macam mana ni, kita dah tak boleh ubah banyak sangat, and I feel that's how I feel. That is the where the
it still look good lah, tapi aku macam let's hope it's not gonna go down. Sayang lah, kau you did hate all these years, kau tarik Taito Kubo to come to work on the, takkanlah kau nak F it up again.
Aku kudo yang kau cakap tadi, it looks good, at least it looks good. Aku pula macam, you don't redo Bleach because it looked bad before. It never looked bad at any point, because even if the animation was shit, the characters were arguably the best design, silhouette wise lah, the best design characters during its time. So means you tahu dia dah cantik dah. Okay, it's very hard to fuck up the animation because dia dah cantik. So you don't watch Bleach because it's pretty. You watch Bleach because you have some reason, some irrational attachment to the story and
the fact that
characters.
Kubo Taito was brought on board to correct his past wrongs. So let's hope.
No, I know, and that correction is on a story perspective, bukan visually. So aku macam, so you don't watch Thousand Year because of the visual. You watch Thousand Year because macam, okay, Han nak betulkan tang mana ni.
Yalah, tapi at the same point, takkanlah Piero nak buat buang kaki lah. We want to make the story
adalah
good.
Tapi kalau macam kau cakap at least it looks good, means like macam, do you guys really have no idea what you want to do with this 1000 Year Blood Storm? Because you just really look good. You did not like fix the story.
Let's hope lah. It's only one episode. Kau tak tengok Amber? Kau ni cerita a bit uncle, okay lah. Have you watched this before?
Dia macam dia dah pangkah Bleach sebab ending macam
Dia kata relationship aku dengan Bleach macam mana tau. Aku bila dah masuk lawan Quincy, Johabak, Division Zero, all the Soul Society punya big hitter kena clown macam tu je. Makin lama aku duduk baca tu macam, Pak, so tired this shit. Lepas tu lah sekali aku macam, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm not reading anymore. Lepas tu macam, dah habis. Sial betul.
betul. Aku baca sampai habis because macam my story with Bleach yang aku cakap banyak kali is that aku masa kat uni aku tengok the first episode, lepas tu aku rasa macam try hardnya anime ni. Dia diselamatkan Shinigami tu macam tak ada power, Shinigami bagi badge, dia release power sebab dia macam sesuai. Boo. And then I stopped watching, I ignored it for like 3, 4, 5 years, close to 10 years. Lepas tu, and that was in 2000. And then in 2008, 2009 pergi beraya kat rumah, cousin aku cakap, oh uncle, you watch anime as well? Yeah, what do you guys watch? Say, oh, we watch Bleach and we listen to Glay. Aku macam, hai budak-budak. Aku macam, I don't like Bleach. Masuk office, a year later, staff kata, boss, you tak baca Bleach ke? Ya, Bleach best lah. I tengok anime first. Jangan tengok anime boss, you just baca Bleach. So aku macam, okay, you're my staff, I will oblige. Seminggu 300 isu zrup macam tu. So that's my Bleach story. So when the ending was like that, aku macam, kau ni kan you brought me in and then you give me this Kubo, why? But I will love it because I like Bleach more than Naruto, but the reading experience Naruto was so much more satisfying.
Okay, aku nak jawab soalan ni je sekejap. Ni bukan cerita lama.
Devil May Cry ke?
Dia tu dia.
Amber buat retrospektif lah. Kudo panggil Amber buat retrospektif. Dia dah tengok DMC.
Devil May Cry.
Anime, video game adaptation.
Video game. But bukan dia orang dah buat ke years ago? Or are they making it again or something?
I think this is the first I'm hearing it.
Is it?
This is the first time I'm hearing it.
2019
Aku dah nampak banyak kali sebab the game banyak lalu kat aku. Masa aku tak main tapi banyak lalu kat aku. Because when it was huge, it was when it was popular when Hellsing was still popular. So at that time, Hellsing punya style of animation of character design, very sharp edges, sharp jawlines.
See, this is what I meant. Because it says here, Devil May Cry, the animated series, 2007. Action, season 1. Pernah ada. And it's not...
The game was huge. The game famous gila kot.
So, I'm not too sure lah. Tapi, I'm not a fan of the IP. So, I'm like, neither here nor there lah nak cover ke tak. Aku more of a... I cover what I like to cover. Because I'll not enjoy doing things that I don't watch or read, or it's kind of pointless lah. I leave that to other people or other channels to do it. So, pada anda yang nak tengok apa-apa lagi yang kami akan ni, sila suka langgan dan the usuals lah untuk mendapat maklumat tentang tarikh dan masa stream langsung kami dan juga share lah any of the videos that we've done thus far. Kepada anda yang baru ke sesi kami, jangan lupa untuk melanggan, berkongsi dan tenyeh butang like untuk kedua-dua laman YouTube Summer of Chaos dan Buzz Pop TV, laman pop culture suka ramai Malaysia, supaya anda tidak ketinggalan untuk sesi kami yang akan datang. Dan jika anda ingin menonton sesi-sesi kami yang sebelum ini, selain dari arcade yang mengandungi sesi ulasan stream yang penuh, laman YouTube Summer of Chaos juga mengandungi video ringkas yang mengambil tema spesifik dari perbincangan kami yang lampau. So, terima kasih sekali lagi untuk anda kerana sudi bersama kami on this late Saturday night, buat kata orang Melayu. Kepada rakan panel saya hari ini, Sukare sama Deshta, Bunif Malik, thank you. Jamal Raslan, thank you. Dan juga
K1 Fighting
dari Geeks Frequency, terima kasih kerana meluangkan masa anda. Dan saya Kudo Marizu, ijo desu, mata tore. Okay guys, thanks a lot. See you in the next session. Yo, sayonara.
Ada.